So how did we get here? Funnily enough, it all started with
Yum, yum, yum. Yum what?
Mr. Young, you've been asking us,
Yes.
what's our faction name?
Oh, do we have an official name?
Yes!
Okay.
From now on, the three of us take a look at these beautiful faces will be named as the State of Bastards. Because everyone in the arena will be chanting S-O-D. 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 Yeah. S-O-D. S-O-D.
Kyle Black the Trickster.
Yo, what's up, kick to the gut?
How does it feel wrestling in a club?
In the best place for a trickster. I get to unleash all my magic tricks.
Incredible match, by the way. Congratulations on the victory. Now, looking forward to Hardcore Island. You have, I believe, an open challenge, correct?
Okay, so right now my partner isn't around, so I had to team up with Meta for the club show. But on August 16 at Hardcore Island 2, I'll be back with CBK as Jack and Cheese.
Oh, what a way to start the weekend that was. Of course, right here, fast forward on a Tuesday afternoon. What's going on? It's Mr. Young.
And it's for in the building. I know you had fun this past
Yes.
week, but how are you, my brother, overall?
I can't complain. We're here doing this podcast, talking about wrestling, our favorite thing. So I always say this, I'm appreciative of what has happened and what I have in my life. And also, especially that we get to chat with you. We have this awesome community that we can get together and talk shit about wrestling.
Yeah, man. And shout out to you guys as well. For me, like wrestling is something, it's like 24/7 for me. It's a lifestyle, right?
Has it been a nice distraction from what you've had to do for the past week? Because, I mean, it's no secret you're on reservist, right?
Oh man, bro, I am 24/7 on the Instagram looking at all the news. So like I'm never out of the wrestling cycle. And people always ask me like, oh, are you like, do you get burnout watching wrestling and stuff like that? But I feel like it's really the case of if you enjoy and love the things that you love, it doesn't feel that is the escape, like you said, from your normal stuff, right? So like I do appreciate some of our listeners as well who take the time to actually listen to the podcast even after the fact, like after it goes live a couple of days later, they're like tagging us. So shout out to like people like Zah, our Patreon, for watching the shows after the fact. So yeah, great to be doing the podcast every single week and supporting wrestling, bro.
I want to circle back to the whole burnout thing in just a bit because, it's a very interesting point I wanted to bring up. But before we do that, I want to jump off what you just talked about. The Discord, come join our Discord. Link is in the description, of course. We have quite the community now. Any type of wrestling, you got people there talking about the Japan stuff that, I personally don't watch. You got AEW fans, you got WWE, local wrestling as well. We chat about as well. So come join the community. And of course, we also have a Patreon page. If you want to take your support for the podcast to the next level, feel free to, sign up for our Patreon, whatever level is comfortable for you.
Yeah, man. And we haven't done it in a while, but I think we should just name some of the patrons right here on our ticker, right? So people like Psychotic, Agent 707, Taufik, Muhammad Daniel, we got a couple of people, Lisa, OG's Div,
Yes.
people who have been with the podcast since day one, from 2018 when we first started. So like very thankful for you guys for the community as well.
Absolutely. Irvin, Rishi, Gaddafi, some of our newer signups as well. Chris, we appreciate all your support for the podcast. DJ Jeffy G.
Yeah, for sure. And people always ask like, oh, what do you get out of the Patreon? Like, what's the value for money? And I feel this plays a lot into what we do for local wrestling as a community, right? If you guys did not know, since the start of the year, we are tracking every single pro wrestling show, local wrestling show that's happening in Singapore, and grading it, giving it star ratings as part of our Singapore Wrestler Top 20 hashtag SW20, and we are tracking it on a monthly basis as well. So every month, based on the shows from either, SPW, Grapplemax, Ring of Rebirth recently as well, we'll give like a top 5 rankings. And all of this will culminate at the end of the year with our Kick to the Gut Awards 2024. And we will unveil the list, our first ever Singapore Wrestler Top 20 2024. It's gonna be fun.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see what this weekend does to that top 20 list as well, because as you know, we had SPW doing their show Clash at the Club too. I was there, and I gotta say, man, I got involved in ways I didn't think I would get involved, but we'll get to that in just a little while. It was crazy because of the setting and everything. You're literally right up there in the wrestlers' faces. It's a very different experience.
Yeah, for sure. And I saw some of the clips, bro. It looks wild. And shout out as well last week to our contest winners, right?
Yeah.
I'll name him Faris. Shout out to Faris as well.
Yep.
He actually gave the winning answer or like the winning choice for the name of the wrestling faction, that the statement and the Midnight Bastards, what they should be called, right? Going forward. And I know you got the exclusive.
Yes, I did get the exclusive scoop after their big main event win. I mean, spoiler alert, but yeah, they did. They won, right? And if you saw a social media post, you probably know what it is, but in just a bit. If you didn't see it, we will reveal it on the show as well as we review Clash at the Club too.
Yeah, and not forgetting, I know we are talking about local wrestling, right? On the same topic, let's not forget Grapplemax and their huge announcement that they just put out on social media as well. Heritage and Headlocks. Grapplemax is going to be back for this year's Singapore Night Festival. That's a big deal, bro.
Oh, it's exciting times, We've always known this, but pro wrestling is an art form. Right?
Yeah.
And to have it showcased in a way like this, where, people who are outside of wrestling, not us diehards. We always talk about it because we are diehards. We've been watching this forever. But people from the outside, anytime you can find a way to get people who have never seen wrestling before to sample the product and enjoy it in a positive way, I think it's a good thing for the product.
Yeah, and shout out to our friend Lion City Wrestling Cult, Nina, right? She covered the event and she put out a very, very cool article, kind of discussing or going more in depth about that particular announcement. Seems to be like a battle of generations, wrestling from from Gen Zs against the old school wrestling. So there's gonna be like a whole fun storytelling element to it, right?
Bro, like the local wrestling scene has really it's changed so much from when we first started covering it. I know it was around even before we first started covering it, but we've seen it grow from strength to strength, and I'm excited. Now we got more people covering it as well. Man, I love it.
Yeah. And people always ask, how do you enter or get involved in the community in wrestling, right? Just over this weekend, I know we're going to be talking about SPW in a bit, but Grapplemax did their open house again. And I think it's the first showcase for the offshoot developmental brand, right?
Yes.
NWE.
Correct.
What is it? New Wrestling Entertainment? What does the NWE stand for? I can't remember.
New Wave Evolution? I forgot.
Was it New Wave Evolution? Yeah.
I also forgot.
We'll figure it out, or someone in the chat, please correct us. I know one of you Grapplemax listeners will be listening in. But yeah, they just had their open house, and this is like a thing that they happen regularly as well.
New Wave Evolution. Yes,
that's New Wave Evolution.
Confirmation for you right there. Okay.
Correct. So whether you are like a wrestling fan who just wants to enjoy the product, or you are an aspiring wrestler trying to get into the business, there are so many pathways, right? And Grapplemax is offering one of them, as well as SPW, because we have some new wave of wrestlers making their debut or making an impact in SPW as well.
Oh, yes. And we'll talk about all that, their big show that happened this past Friday in just a little while. But of course, first and foremost, we need to shout out our lovely sponsors of the podcast. We love them. Lemaq.
Yes, Lemaq, of course, our very favorite lunchtime sponsors. Again, if you're listening to this podcast right now, we debuted it on our usual time slot on Tuesdays on lunchtime. So if you are hungry and you are in the Arab Street area and you're looking for some nice snacks and cuisines, whether it's Malaysian, Indonesian, bro, there is so many options that Lemak offers, bro. My personal favorite, if you see at the top there, the jongkong, it's a great dessert. I'm a big fan of that, and I think they are also doing like a frapp giveaway. So if you want some drinks, they are available as well, and lots of snacks, bro. Lots of options for you to eat over there.
Every time I go to their Instagram page, it makes me feel hungry, bro. It makes me feel packaged. Packaged. My package feels packaged, bro.
Damn, so you know what? I'm
talking about my stomach. That's my package. I have one big. I'm trying to talk my way out of this.
It's very hard, bro. The hole you dug very deep, bro.
Don't talk about things being hard, bro. That one.
Okay. Man, bro, we are going sideways on our sponsor shout out, okay, bro. But yeah. Again, if you're in the area or if you actually really like the food, from all the times that we've been talking about Lemak, they are available for delivery online. If you're at East Sider, they have a shop at one of the hawker centers in Bedok as well. So a lot of options to get your favorite Malay/Indonesian food from Lemak.
Absolutely. Drop them a follow on Instagram as well so you can check out their offers. You know, they have limited time offers once in a while, the kind of thing. lemaq.lemaq for the audio listeners in case you can't see the Instagram page that we have open right now. So there you go. Lemaq, once again, they enjoy what we do. They want to spread the love of pro wrestling as well. So go ahead and check out what they do and enjoy. You guarantee confirm will enjoy their food.
Awesome. Love it.
Also, we want to talk about other sponsor of the podcast, SPW. You know them, we love them, right? And like we mentioned, I was just at their clash at the club too, having an incredible amount of fun. But I want to take a look at what is in the future because August is going to be their Hardcore Island 2. In fact, you know what I feel? I feel like this clash at the club event, right, was almost like a precursor, almost like a little tester, a teaser, a taste of what's going to happen at Hardcore Island 2 because we got a fair share of hardcore wrestling action at the club.
Oh man, it's going to be fun. This is like Singapore's version of WWE Extreme Rules.
I think so, a little bit.
Yeah, so of course, we are talking about our coverage of Clash at the Club today, but in the future, we'll definitely do a preview of Hardcore Island, and we'll get one of the wrestlers on the show as well from SPW. So it's gonna be fun times if you're an SPW or// local wrestling fan, especially in August. There's gonna be a lot of shows happening, bro. So gotta watch out for that.
As you check out the main event, I have it on screen right now. The Singapore Extreme Rules match. I love the Extreme is an X. You know, this is a 90s throwback, isn't it?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Where Mason, RJ, the Midnight Bastards, and the Statement Andrew Tang actually are going to go up against Aiden Rex, Dr. Gore, and the Butcher Man. Now, what? Oh my gosh. Okay, we've seen, and we'll talk about them in just a bit, and their new faction name, but we've seen them come together recently talking about the Midnight Bastards and Statement.
Yep.
And after their performance at Clash, I'm thinking, you know, they might be running roughshod over the SPW roster, and who better to put up against this dastardly group than some of SPW's biggest OGs and heroes, i.e. Aiden Rex, Dr. Gore, Butcher Man.
I love it. And you know, the best part about, you know, the wrestlers in SPW, you always know it's going to be a fun night out watching their shows. Even some of my friends, you know, like people who don't usually watch, you know, our previous sponsor, Mirage Advisory, the boys there, they love their experience at SPW. So, hey, you're not a fan, you're looking for a day out or night out, something to do, something fun to do, go check out SPW show. Let's go, bro.
Bro, there should still be tickets available Friday, August 16th at their home stadium, I suppose, the Fuchao building. Yeah. Go get your tickets. Drop them a DM if you need to know more about the Hardcore Island 2 event, okay? As always, too, Statement, he loves bringing in foreign not you, but foreign talent as well. We always see a lot of Japanese stars, regional stars coming down. There you go. The pink striker of TJPW will be making an appearance at the Hardcore Island 2. Miyu Yamashita.
I see. I mean, of course, it stands for Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, right? It's, I believe, the second biggest female promotion after Stardom. So it's a big deal, bro. It's a big deal getting real international talent. And hey, if you're a fan of Japanese wrestling, what better way to see some Japanese talent than by watching this show as well? So it's gonna be fun.
Yes, and then here's another one also from Joshi Pro. It's Kaya Toribami.
Bro, their names. Loving the names.
I only know I like Kaya with my toast.
Perfect.
But maybe I'll like this Kaya also.
Don't let your wife hear that. Okay.
As a wrestler lah. Come on, what are you thinking? Bro?
Yeah,
Come on. But yes, as we get closer and closer to the date, we will have the wrestlers on to chat about their matches and whatnot. Oh, it's a triple threat. There you go. Alexis Lee will be there as well. So that's the match that's happening.
Awesome. I can't wait. And again, that is down the road, a few episodes down the road. But right here today, I want to hear you, bro, your experience at SPW Clash at the club too.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a bit, but very quickly, you know, as always, we are paying attention to wrestling of all kinds, right? So let's talk about what's been going on in AEW and WWE. Very quickly, it does seem like WWE is gearing up to SummerSlam, and usually on the road to like some of the big events, it slows down a bit. It's to be expected. You can't have banger every single week, right?
Would you say this week was a bit of an off week for WWE in general?
I wouldn't say it's an off week, more like it's, okay, fine. I guess it would be an off week. It's more of, all right, we'll just let things stew. You know,
it's more of like nothing much of note happened.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you know, when, like, for example, you follow football, right? Some matches, it's the 0-0 draw. It's a 1-1 draw, you know? Whereas some are the exciting, like, holy shit, that happened sort of a vibe, right? Yeah. I know it's very different. It's two very different sports, but you get my drift. But
interestingly, I would say I disagree that it was an off week for WWE in general, because I thought, like you know, first off the bat, I thought SmackDown wasn't that great this week, but I was really 100% invested in whatever that happened on Raw, especially that now that Mami is back in the mix, and we had the entire Mexican telenovela storyline running throughout Monday Night Raw last week, bro. That was fun.
That's what I love about the WWE right now, and I have loved for the past couple of years, right? Is that they could have very easily blown the whole thing off, and that's what AEW is always guilty of. Right? But no, they are stretching it out. So Mami, yes, they set up the match for SummerSlam and all that, but it's not like she's dumped Dom right away. She's just giving him like, you know, like, and this is a very relationship thing as well. I think we all know, like, you know, the writing's on the wall, they're going to break up, but are they going to break up? And then you got Jey Uso sort of like, is she single? You know, let me holler at you. You know what I mean? So they've involved so many of these other elements where you could see, oh my God, so maybe we'll get a Jey versus Dominic feud, you know? It's just great storytelling and interconnectivity with all your characters.
Bro, I think what I love about what's happening with WWE right now is like they're letting certain storylines play out organically. And like, for example, if they tease something in the past, they might not do it straight away, might not pay it off straight away, but they will revisit it down the line. So for example, this whole Jey hitting on Mami, right?
Yes.
It's a running thing that started way before she got injured, but then now they're revisiting it again.
It's the very definition of let him cook. Everything is simmering, you know? It's very much the opposite of AEW, which is, and we'll talk about them in a bit, but everything about AEW now seems like a knee-jerk reaction. Oh shit, let's do it because ratings are low. Oh shit, let's do it, you know? WWE can do it because they are in a good position. They are in a position to tell stories because they understand at the end of the day, it's not about the swerve, bro. It's a swerve. It's not about that. No, it's about telling stories that get people invested. So you don't burn out your talent. They're not doing hour matches and putting their bodies on the line on a TV episode.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about it in a bit.
You can see where I'm going with this, can't you?
Of course. This, I think anyone who listens to this podcast knows what we're gonna be talking about. But I want to focus on Raw slightly because I think certain things stood out for me. We didn't manage to talk about it fully during last week's episode, but I'll start first, right? Like my biggest takeaway from last week's Raw, bro, was Rowan's interview segment, bro. That completely caught me by surprise. I don't know. What do you think about that particular segment?
So I like what they're doing with a lot of these characters, the White Six, right? To quote unquote humanize them. They're going to be a face faction, even though they're all horror related. I'm still a bit wary. I have worries about it in that how are they going to eventually wrestle and make it work, you know?
Yeah.
It's one of those cases, let him simmer, let him cook, but also like, okay, I'll give you the perfect example or analogy. Remember when Bray Wyatt was doing his thing with LA Knight, that whole promo, where week after week, it was amazing promos. The match itself was a letdown.
No,
You know?
I get it. I think the biggest concern, and we talked about it on last week's episode, so like, is Wyatt 6 gonna be very hokey? Like, will they pay it off? What is this storyline leading towards? There's a lot of these questions and answers. And last week, they had the whole Chad Gable and uniting with the Creed brothers, and they want to confront Bordellis, right?
Yeah, the whole, I know who he is, and everyone's like, we all know who he is. I thought that was quite funny. It's very fitting to his character.
Yeah,
but
it
also,
is.
Yeah. To your point, like, so are they gonna have a match, and then how's that gonna play out?
Yeah, I would love to see this play out or culminate in like a 6-man in SummerSlam, and like we get the full Wyatt 6 in-ring debut. That would be really, really cool. And to touch back on Rowan's promo, right? What I found so haunting about that promo was, I think that first 3 out of the 4 minutes was him really pouring his heart out, like telling the honest truth about how, yes, he lost his brothers, like he lost Brody Lee, somebody who really believed in him, and then just as he was healing from that, then he lost Bray Wyatt. And the thing that I think a lot of people picked up on was when he said that line, like, who's gonna remember me if I'm gone? Like, I'm just Rowan.
Yeah.
And then we know, we know that he has never been the staff of that faction. Like you said, that really hit me, because like, shit, this kind of people that no one has ever appreciated, they're just there, and then like, now to hear from his point of view how he actually felt during these moments, huh?
No, exactly. So, but I always go back to, at the end of the day, this is a wrestling show. How are they going to pay it off? Are they going to wrestle, or is it going to be a joke, not a joke match, but a gaga match? Lights out, they are wearing their masks, they commit backstage murder. Like, what is the end game here? I'm very curious, but I'm also very wary of what they can do here.
Yeah, my thoughts and my hopes is that right now they're telling the backstory of each character, so they're not just showing them as just masked figures, right? They're showing the guys behind the mask. So I hope they will introduce or give a story to like Dexter Lumis, or why he joined, or Joe Gacy.
Yes.
Bro, can you imagine Nikki Cross
Oh my God.
giving her promo?
Yes. In a lot of ways, would you consider this better storytelling than The Undertaker? Because let's face it, the original Undertaker debut was him coming out with Brother Love. Of all people, no link whatsoever. It was only later did they give him Paul Bearer, right? But if you think about it, we look at The Undertaker as the classic example of a supernatural character that worked, right?
Yeah.
But we also need to remember it worked in a time where every other supernatural character was damn hokey, and he
was a
just
different
played.
time.
Yeah, he just played the gimmick, and he was a great worker. It was just the right pieces fit. But the storytelling at times were actually, if you go back and think about it, very hokey.
Yeah. My hope that why this will work is because they are trying to approach it from a different way, right? Giving them all a backstory, giving them a humanizing sympathy, or like reason to see beyond the mask. Who are these people behind the mask? So that when they do eventually wrestle, I hope they actually wrestle without their mask.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
But what does it mean? Do they lose? Will they have like supernatural endurance and they can't lose? You know what I mean? So I'm very curious. Like, okay, in the history of the WWE, what other? So you had people like Boogeyman, for example, right? It didn't take long for him to become a joke character after a while.
Okay.
Who else? We did Waylon Mercy.
Yeah.
No, not Waylon Mercy. That was the other guy. Mordecai.
Mordecai didn't last more than 2 months, bro.
Before Mordecai, he was the vampire guy.
Okay, you know what? My hope is that it's less Mordecai, Boogeyman, fucking like Kevin Thorne,
Yeah.
and more of like Raven from the ECW. Like,
Or
it's
Bray
a-
Wyatt, the original Wyatts.
Yeah, the original ones, or like Sting, right? Like,
Yeah.
they are not supernatural characters per se, but there's something mystical about them. It's really in their promos, in the way they carry themselves. So, like, for example, Raven was super compelling, was because he was this like he's this cult leader that have no idea what's going on behind his thought process. He does crazy shit, but you can't look away, right? And I hope that's what happens with Bray Wyatt. So, it's not Bray Wyatt, sorry, Bo Dallas and his team, Wyatt Six. I hope that they come across as creepy and fucked up, and like, they're not right in the head.
Yeah.
But like, it's all grounded in reality somehow.
Yeah. That like there's a reason for them to present themselves like that. It's like any good horror movie, like at the end of the day, if you watch that sort of stuff, right?
Okay, I got a perfect analogy, bro. I hope they are like Split. You know the movie Split?
Oh, yeah. Well, what's that guy's name? Charles Xavier.
James McAvoy.
McAvoy, thank you.
Yeah. So Split, right, was a horror genre, right? A psychological horror genre. So this guy had multiple personalities.
Yep.
And he supposedly did superhuman things, but it's because his personality made him like that. But then there was there's this realness that this shit could actually happen. What if this person has this multiple personality disorder and they can do, like people when they are possessed, they do crazy shit.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking more of those lines for Wyatt Six.
So less characters getting burnt alive and then resurrecting, less of that and more just mind games. This is what you're saying.
Yeah, mind games and like, holy shit, this guy is a bit fucked in the head.
Yeah. Okay, so you got the Wyatt Six stuff. What do you make of the Judgment Day stuff? Like, okay, as of late, Judgment Day has become more of a comedy group, to be honest. Especially, ironically...
Kalito lah, bro.
Yeah, like he's the veteran of the group and he's in there making jokes and stuff. Like, I appreciate it, you know? But what does this make Mami and Damian Priest? Does it make Priest a bit of a weaker, he's the world champion, but he's surrounding himself with a bunch of jokers, right?
I feel like they are setting up a very clean break. Like, it's clear the baby faces in the group is Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, right? We'll talk about Damian Priest and Gunther in a bit, but I feel like now that they established them as like the one that we're gonna cheer for, if they were ever to get excommunicated from Judgment Day or they were to completely split apart, the likes of Finn, JD, Carlito, Dominic, maybe Liv Morgan, can still go on and be Judgment Day, while the rest can kind of break out on their own.
Agreed. So this, to me, is the setup for, Damian Priest really going solo, being by himself. They already foreshadowed this with Seth Rollins. Remember, Seth was like, hey, unlike you, I broke away from my group and I found success. You haven't done that yet.
Yeah, but the way they're going to go about it is different, where
Yeah.
he gets betrayed by his team.
Correct. So I like it. I like where they're going with it. I know people have been saying that he hasn't been a great champion. I think we'll see. Come SummerSlam, is this Gunther's time or is it too soon?
Yeah, we'll talk about Gunther's in a bit, but I think just to wrap up on Judgment Day, if they get excommunicated, right, I really hope Finn Balor becomes the head guy and becomes a top star again.
Yeah, and he can do what he did on NXT, his whole Prince,
Prince David thing, right?
Yeah, like he's just a badass. He doesn't have to bring back the demon and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I would love him to be the guy, and then let JD and Dominic be like the so-called rising stars. And bro, Liv Morgan, they already teased that she got some sort of this weird alliance with Finn.
Yes.
She can be the next star to take up, Mommy's place. So lots of fun moving parts happening in Judgment Day, in my way. I'm still stoked. They are 2 years into the and they are, I think, reaching bloodline levels of we do not want them to break up the entire faction. We want the faction to keep going, but maybe in different iterations lah.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it works as well. And they are very different from the Bloodline. You don't have two opposing factions that are similar, right? Bloodline is more mafia. This is like they're kind of group of jokers right now, and Damian Priest is like the fun dad who's like, okay, like whatever. He puts up with them. Yeah.
They're like the little rascals and like the tree house, and then like
Yeah.
this is like the elder brother that is
Yeah.
like shitting on. Yeah, it's hilarious. Everything that happened during last week's segments involving Dominic trying to call Rhea Mamacita, you know, that kind of shit. It's fucking hilarious, and they're all growing into that role, bro.
And now that we are talking about it, right, and we've sort of pinged back and forth on it, I appreciate right now that in the WWE, there are factions that are very well defined. Like you have the horror faction in the Wyatt Six, you have the mafia faction in the Bloodline, you have the the goof offs in Judgment Day, kind of, So it's not like. I hate making the comparison again, but when you look at AEW, there are 1,000,001 groups, all of whom I'm like, what are they doing together? I randomly saw a promo on Instagram. Did you know that Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Ishii, and Kyle O'Reilly are a faction now?
No.
Yeah. I can't remember what they call them, the conglomerate or I'm like, what is going on? Is this
conglomerate, right?
Is this a joke? I love Mark Briscoe's promo, but what is this? Why are they even like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. They're just randomly putting shit together because they all like to work together or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Oh, bro. Just side note, shout out to Urfi. Urfi just literally pledged and became a new Patreon member. So literally right now as we are recording on the podcast.
Are you serious? Are you serious, Urfi?
Love you, Urfi. Thank you so much. And I'm pretty sure Urfi, I think, joined because of the recent June Singapore Wrestle Top 20 rankings that we did.
Yes.
So guys, please, if you want to find out of your wrestler who's wrestling in Singapore, I want to know your star ratings. We do have our listeners and us, attending the shows and giving our ratings. So shout out to all those people that are part of the Patreon. So side topic. But back to what we were talking about.
We have our peoples everywhere. Eyes and ears are everywhere. So do your best.
Do your best.
Show up. Okay. So I appreciate what is going on in the WWE in those terms, lah.
Yeah. And the great thing I think is like for me personally is that they are not ignoring long-term history. Like,
yes,
we all know Dominic Mysterio had that custody of Dominic match in 2005, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that, they're doing a homage to like Eddie Guerrero and China, like it's things that if you are a long-time wrestling fan, you get rewarded. I think this is like what happened. Okay, imagine if you are a Marvel fan, right?
Yeah.
And Marvel becomes its entire long-running TV show, like X-Men 97 becomes a long-running TV show. And like, shit, I want to know that whatever I watched in the past that was invested in the past has some sort of payoff 20 years later.
Yeah, I mean, the best Marvel movies did exactly that.
Yeah.
Without cashing in too much on it. I would argue that No Way Home overdid it, but that's just me, and that's a completely different universe altogether. But yes.
Yeah. No, I get you. And I think if you are somebody who likes fandoms, right? You're a fan of like, I don't know, whatever it is, animes or stuff like that. Oh, especially animes with like Dragon Ball Z with hundreds and hundreds of episodes, right? Like you can pay off something from episode 1 and like it's paid off in episode 316. Like you remember, oh shit, I remember that. So I think that's what wrestling is at its best when it's done that way.
Doesn't WWE have a continuity officer or somebody they hired just to keep track of continuity? I think it's starting to show, and it's a good thing.
It is starting to show. And the best part is, and I know there's some criticism about Liv Morgan, is that, she's a champion, but her storyline is not even about the world title, or like it's just she's like just a love interest. But I also completely disagree, because I feel like everything that she's done is part of her Liv revenge tour.
Yeah.
And it all plays into what she wants to do is to get back at Rhea, and to also do you remember this? I'd completely forgotten, but I think she brought it up in a promo or something like that. Do you know that Liv and Rhea used to be tag team champions together?
Yes.
And Rhea turned heel for the first time by beating up Liv Morgan.
Yes, correct. And this was after that. Then Liv teamed up with Raquel Rodriguez, right?
Yeah, and this was when then Rhea joined Judgment Day shortly after with Edge and Damian Priest.
Correct.
So, bro, like
history, bro. There is history.
If nobody brought that up, I would have completely forgotten and it would have still worked. But the fact that they brought it up, I was like, holy shit, there was this thing that I completely forgot, but it makes sense also.
I mean, okay, we can't say that, oh, they planned this all along. You know, I'm
Yeah.
sure at some point they're like, oh, but, you know, the fact that they did bring it back to sort of tie a little bow on it. Now, I'll give you another example of how they're planting seeds. This past SmackDown, so not this week, but last week's SmackDowns, Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. You know that
Yes.
scene, they are backstage, Randy is like, yo, I have your back, you know. And even after this whole bloodline thing is over, people will be coming for the title, but always know, I have your back. And then he just side-eyed the title. Like, oh my God, Randy is like the master. Like, this is subtle, like great acting, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it might not pay off for a year, maybe a year and a half. But at some point, when Randy Orton turns on Cody, you can play that clip. Like this whole time he been looking at that title, like he's got eyes. He had lust in his eyes. This is like a Hogan, Elizabeth, and Macho Man, bro.
Yeah, and it was the best thing, right? Even if like they don't go it that way, he also has another justification for going after the title. You know why? Because he said he will stand up or he will have Cody's back. And what did that get him?
Nothing.
He got beaten up. He got beaten up and taken out by the bloodline.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and that's what happened on SmackDown. So I know you're jumping back and forth, but like on SmackDown, people were shitting on like, oh, this is the same ending as last week with Randy Orton. But what happened? The bloodline took out another ally of Cody Rhodes in Kevin Owens.
Yeah. So what you're doing is you're putting Cody Rhodes at a massive disadvantage going into SummerSlam. His friends are gone, right? Oh my God. They are building the suspense because nobody in their right mind thinks that Solo Sikoa is going to win the championship. Nobody believes that.
Bro, you know what? What's the best? You know what's the best part?
What?
He's all alone, supposedly, right? There's nobody there to save him, right?
Yeah.
Except maybe one.
Oh, wow. The
one.
Yeah, no.
Yeah?
But see, that's the point. That's why they're doing this. They're taking away all his... And this is classic movie storytelling, right?
Yeah.
It's like, who is it? Captain America and Iron Man and Thor, they all beat up. Thanos just decimated them. And then on your left, you know that portal scene? Everyone comes
and
out.
The goosebumps. The goosebumps start.
So that's exactly what they're setting up. They've removed all the aid that, you know, Cody has, all his friends. And now it's like there's no hope for Cody going into SummerSlam. It's a faction versus one guy. Yeah. And that's how you set up the big return.
I would argue, and as much of people shitting on like, oh, I don't think there's any need for writers. AI has taken over. I would argue only a brilliant writer and writers and writing room can come up with such great shit, bro. True. It's not the AI, bro. So respect your writers.
So here's the difference between Vince. When Vince was running the show and he had all the writers, right? And to a certain extent, Vince Russo's mentality of it. They were writers, but they were Hollywood writers. They didn't have a good grasp of the wrestling art form. Right now, we have like sort of the perfect meld. You have, yes, Hollywood writers. You have writers who can craft out a storyline, but you have a Triple H who say, this maybe doesn't work in a wrestling world. Context. Yeah. Maybe we tweak it a little bit. So right now, it feels more like a collaborative effort. They are writers, but they are working within the confines of the wrestling context, as opposed to just, writers for the sake of writers. And the other thing is they are letting those who can promo, and not read scripts.
I would, maybe guess, or like if you want to talk about the speculations and all that, right? Maybe Nick Khan is that guy who is like all about the let's make it mainstream and Hollywood and let's do all these dealings with celebrity collabs and all that. And but he still gives Triple H the reign of like, okay, I'm an old school booker. I know what works in wrestling 101. So then, like you said, it's a collaborative process, right? And also not just again the wrestling and the content and the storylines, the production has leveled up. So many things, moving parts going really well. And one other thing I wanted to say is like, people say, but WWE is like so boring to watch in terms of the wrestling, the in-ring product. While I would agree to a certain extent that WWE has made it less about the in-ring wrestling because everything around it, personally, in my opinion, I find more interesting than the wrestling.
Sure. Yeah.
But then they can one time put out a random banger like Sami Zayn versus Ilya Dragunov.
Even Andrade Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown. You know? Like they have the work. See, here's the difference, right? It's like you have the workers there. You know who's good, who's not, and you know they're having all these crazy banger matches on NXT. They're getting it out of their system. You want to be on the mainstream, the main platform. You better have a freaking storyline, a character, a marketability.
Yeah. Bro, speaking of NXT, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of NXT, what about our boy Dante Chen challenging for the NXT Championship against Ethan Page? Bro, where did I literally can time quote you from last week's episode? You know what I said?
What?
Remember we said, hey, National Day is coming up. Maybe we should highlight and spotlight Dante Chen. You remember what I said last week?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then now one time Dante Chen randomly, yes, very random, but bro, what a showcase for him to be fighting against the NXT champion, huh?
Well, if anything, it shows that the management in Singapore terms, see him up. Because they know that he can be that guy to go there, give Ethan Page a good match, make him look good, and give him a showcase match, which is what he did, right?
Correct. And you know what? The best thing was reading comments from all these Americans, and they were like, so there will be like one section of the comment page will be saying like, who the hell is Dante Page? Why did this Dante get a random title opportunity? And then I actually see on the same thread, people are replying, defending Dante, and not us Singaporeans, like other Americans, like, oh no lah, he's like Javon Evans, or just getting a opportunity. And like some people were like, hey, he's actually damn good, like give him more chances. So, bro, like he's building his own fan base there, and I love to see it, bro.
The groundswell is there. When you look at the NXT arena, people are into him. And it's no surprise. We've seen him live in action in SPW, right? Like, the guy has it.
Bro, he got a 2-count small package, almost victory over Ethan Page, bro. So, I got to give credit to Ethan Page as well.
Yeah.
Because Ethan Page gave him a lot. And he didn't have to, but he gave him a lot.
We're all very happy. We're all very proud of him. And hopefully this means bigger things for Dante Chen moving forward. Maybe another feud stemming from this.
Bro, this could be the year, bro. This could be the year where everything comes together for Dante Chen. Just in time for NDP 60-year anniversary next year, bro.
Oh,
right?
shit. Let's go. WWE come to Singapore, all right? Singapore Tourism Board, make that shit happen.
Yeah. Very, very, very funnily enough, because I think they've been wrestling... there's plans that they're going to go to Japan, right? So every time they go to Japan, the rumor is like, they're going to come to Singapore or
But
Malaysia,
the Japan
right?
one is not happening because, so Japan is end of this month. So it's actually next week, I believe. Oh,
really?
No. As we record this on the 21st, I believe is next week. So they haven't announced anything. It's not going to happen in Singapore. Unfortunately, whatever it is, maybe the money wasn't right. Which sucks lah. What are you going to do?
Well, doesn't matter. I still believe that, again, Dante Chen has the tools to be a prominent player, at least in NXT, right? Don't need to hotshot him, give him the North American title, let him build more of his career. Bro, the thing is, right, NXT right now is resembling a bit of his black and gold days because we don't just have our rising talents and developmental prospects. We got all these veterans from other promotions and territories. You say his name and he appears.
We believe.
We believe.
Yes.
In Joe Hendry.
They're just doing... This is what happens when you have a well-oiled machine and the right people are doing the right things. It's not going to last forever. Let's be real here. At the end of the day, somebody somewhere will get too greedy and things will start falling apart. But we need to see it and appreciate it for what it's worth right now. And it's a great time to be a WWE fan.
Yeah, if you are a long-time wrestling fan and if you ever have been suffering for a long time because of sometimes how bad wrestling could get.
Because of VKM.
Yes, you should be rejoicing right now, bro. You should be rejoicing right now. Let's fucking go, bro.
Okay. Let's switch the channel. Let's flip sides a little bit. Talk a bit about AEW. Okay, a lot of buzz for AEW. Yeah, because of this past week's Dynamite, right?
Dynamite 250, right?
250. Yeah. Two things really stand out. And next week is the Blood and Guts, isn't it?
Yes, correct. This coming week.
This upcoming week. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if they hold on to the audience because if I'm not mistaken, they did go up in the ratings for this week's Dynamite after 2 weeks of losing to NXT.
Yeah, I heard that essentially they had their highest ratings in a couple of months.
Yes.
But it didn't hit 800K. So it was like right underneath, like
700-ish.
795 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And,
Which, kudos to them lah. Kudos to them. You can't take that away from them, right?
Yeah.
But
let's talk about the elephant in the room though. Let's talk about that. Did it make sense to do a Hogan Goldberg WCW Nitro situation? Did it make sense?
I wouldn't even consider it that, because at least Hogan Goldberg was two incredibly over people,
Wrestlers,
right? Yeah, for their main championship. That's it. And don't get me wrong, I love me an Iron Man match, I'm trying to rationalize this, right? Because I didn't enjoy the match. I hate to I'd be the one who says this, but I didn't enjoy the match. I thought it was boring. I'm gonna try to rationalize this by saying maybe because I already knew the result, because I saw what happened on social media. I knew going in it was going to be an hour match, right? Versus them announcing an Iron Man match. You know what I mean? I feel like there is a difference.
Or it wasn't supposed to be an Iron Man, but it just had a normal 60-minute time limit.
Yeah, it just went way too long.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just used to, short matches. I've been WWE-ized too much. I can't appreciate a good worked match anymore, bro. I'm no longer a true wrestling fan.
Bro, then my question to you is, if you had watched this live,
yes,
without any inkling that this was going to go an hour, do you think you would have been invested? If you just was so engrossed in the match and then like, shit, it's already an hour. Like,
right.
You think that would have been the reaction?
I would say maybe a little bit more. That's why I'm saying I already knew it was going to be an Iron Man match. That's why I found it boring. So you know what I mean? I'm giving a reason for that. But also no, because think back to the Iron Man matches of old. On SmackDown, it was Brock versus Kurt. Two people that have been feuding for a freaking long time. Two of the best pure wrestlers there, right? So there was history. Then you go back even further, Shawn and Brett.
Yeah.
You had fall. I mean, you didn't have falls in between on that one. That one actually literally went to a 0-0 draw. But you had the history there as well. And I think that is the point. Yep. Those were like culminations of long programs where the Iron Man, once again, we talk about how the Iron Man match itself was the culmination of it had to be that match for them to prove something, right?
Yeah.
This one technically was not announced as an Iron Man match. They went all the way, but it's like, I don't know, man. You go ahead.
Yeah, my favorite Iron Man match of all time was Triple H versus The Rock with HBK as a special guest referee. Backlash 2000, right? I would argue it was better than their WrestleMania Fatal 4-Way match, right?
Yeah.
And they had like 5 falls to 4, so it was great. But again, I don't compare this to an Iron Man match because this wasn't advertised as an Iron Man match. I would compare it more to Cena versus Shawn Michaels in London in 2007, I believe. They had an epic hour-long match. It was a non-title match. And so they really had the WrestleMania main event match, right? HBK and John Cena retained. But this was the rematch, and then they went an hour long, and Shawn Michaels, shockingly out of nowhere, had that, there was this amazing spot where he did a super kick and then he fell on him. He fell on him, right? It was a beautiful spot, right?
It's so evenly matched that, he eked out a victory, sort of an idea, right?
Correct. And that was voted on the greatest matches of that year, right?
Yeah.
It was on a random Raw though, because it literally was the last Raw before that year's Backlash. So it was like, why you had this match before Backlash, right? I would compare it to that, because to be really honest, and I've been trying to find opposing opinions or hot takes that support or justify why this should have been on Dynamite. Like, I heard the range of comments. A couple of people would say things like, it's their Dynamite anniversary 250. Of course, they needed a showcase match, and then they needed to showcase like their top talents that's currently right now, which is MJF and Will Ospreay. Another section would say this is actually a great opening match because now there's heat behind the feud. Now that MJF, hear me out, MJF shockingly wins the title against Will Ospreay, right? And now he's the established heel. So they argue that, you know what? So when they have that rematch at All In at Wembley, he is that evil guy with the title, and you have the homecoming hero Will Ospreay coming back to get that rematch victory.
And
so
he
that's how
did-
they justify it.
Yeah, he did cheat to win. So he tainted. I get the idea where they're going. He tainted a very well wrestled match that was so even for an hour, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I get that.
Correct.
Yes.
And also another group. Okay, this is the last hot take that they had. They're like, the greatest feud of all time in AEW. I think we both can agree. MJF versus CM Punk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What best told stories, right? But do you remember the first ever time they actually had a match? Wasn't on pay-per-view. They had a match, I believe, in Long Island. On a random episode of Dynamite as well. And MJF actually got the victory. Their first match, MJF actually gave their CM Punk his first loss.
Right.
Then that whatever that went down then led to the rematch at Revolution where they had the dog collar match.
Yep.
So it's like they are saying that this is a booking tactic that Tony Khan has done and it has been successful. So those are all the justifications for it, right?
Yeah.
But let's be honest. Can I go first?
Sure, go ahead.
They had no reason to pull the trigger here, bro.
Yeah.
No reason to even give a clean finish.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to tease the match and then go 5 minutes and then it went to shits or like a schmoz, can still accept. But why the hell they gave their so-called marquee, in terms of whatever they have right now that's going for them, this literally could be their top marquee match, first time ever match. It could have headlined Wembley, in my opinion, right?
Yep.
Why the F they give it away on free TV?
I'll tell you why, bro.
Why?
Proper rating.
Exactly.
Dude is very obvious, right? And you know, if you are AEW like die hard, you probably disagree. But the Tony Khan quite obviously needs to sell the product and get the money he wants for TV licensing. So he's going to do everything in his power to get the TV ratings up. Forget about long-term storytelling. Forget about the big blow-off because, Wembley is going to be an event anyway. So it doesn't matter what the matches are. People are going to go. It's a happening, right? We talked about this before. So right now, the key focus is to get those demographics, those numbers back. What better way than to just throw it? It's like booking on WWE 2K. Throw a random Hell in a Cell match just to get
that 5 stars. Get that 5 stars.
Yeah, and we talking about stars, and I'm pretty sure MJF is like, okay, let's do a Dave Meltzer cream his pants match, so that because we all know that Tony Khan books for Dave Meltzer. It's very obvious. You know what I mean,
bro? It's my fear, bro. This is my fear. Like my fear is that MJF, as great as he is, he became good, in my opinion, because he worked with, at that point in time, Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk.
Yeah.
Now that all these people are not big players in the company, who's gonna bring him up to that level? Or is he gonna, because everything is mediocrity around him, like, he's just gonna start going and blending into the background, doing all these style matches.
Flippy shit. I think he's smart enough. I think he's smart enough to know that, okay, I am in a company where 5-6-star matches are worth interest.
Their currency.
Currency. Yes, great way to put it. So I'm gonna do this one because he knows he can do it. It's just he hasn't been doing it because he's smart about his health and his body and blah blah blah, right? And I am sorry, but the starting sequence where it's starting to become annoying. That sequence, you know what sequence I'm talking about with Will Ospreay? Every Will Ospreay flippy shit match has that same sequence where I duck you, you duck me, I handstand. It's slightly different with MJF, but it's that same sequence and it's starting to get boring. It's the same sequence we see in like two very technical wrestlers go hole for hole for hole, and then the head scissors, I kick out the head scissors. It's like almost, it's paint by numbers at this point.
It's stereo, yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle doing mat wrestling for the first 2 minutes to start off the match. That, to me, that is real competitiveness, bro, in my opinion.
And also, it wasn't seen that much back then, so there was novelty. So those who understood it, wow, they get the big, like, whoa, this is real wrestling, quote unquote, right? But to those who had never seen it before, this is new. Oh, okay, this is another side of pro wrestling I've never seen before. Right now with Will Ospreay, we've seen this shit over and over and over again.
I think the biggest issue with AEW is that everyone kind of blends in together, right? Can you tell me the difference between a Carl Fletcher and a Dante Martin? You know what I mean? You get what I mean?
Or Dante Martin and one of Private Party.
Yeah.
The same flippy shit, right? No,
Correct.
and watching this match, I actually had a better appreciation. Talking about Will Ospreay MJF, I had a better appreciation for MJF because you notice, even though he was doing all the trading moves, he was selling the moves. Something as simple as that goes back to the root of what pro wrestling is.
Yeah.
You know, whenever Will would get him in a move, he would like freaking like, he would sell it. Whereas when MJF gets Will in a hole or does a move to him, he just no sells it and carries on. That bugs me. That really bugs me.
I think a lot of people say like, Will Ospreay is the greatest like in-ring wrestler in the whole of pro wrestling right now. And yes, his ability and his athleticism is unmatched. He's world class. He can do all those things, right? But to me, a wrestler is somebody who can tell a story.
Yes.
If he can tell the story of him, like the story that he wants to sell in the ring through his moves, I think it's fine. And he has done that. I've seen his matches where he, even with Kenny Omega last year, Wrestle Kingdom, right? I thought there was this whole storyline about hitting the one-winged angel and nobody has kicked out of it, and then hitting the Storm Zero. Like, okay, there was that chase to hit your finisher move. I can appreciate that, but sometimes it devolves too much into just random sequence of moves, right?
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Random sequence of moves that apparently you can just tank through. It's video game wrestling. It's great for a video game, but it's terrible for in-ring. And, WWE is not innocent in that. Like, they've done it before also. Sometimes, like, hulking up and Cody will do this shit. He will no-sell some shit. But it seems like an epidemic in AEW where this is that style of wrestling, And ultimately, it becomes like, if you see it every time, then like you devalue the moves, you devalue things being done. You get spiked on your head. Oh, he can just stand up lah. Oh, nothing. Yeah. It's okay lah.
I wish like they still kept people like Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Claudio all over. Like when I say over means there was a period in time where they were the hottest thing in the company, right? I wish they somehow still kept them at this level, this aura and mystique, so that somebody like Will Ospreay who comes to the company can work their way up the bosses, and mid-card boss, and then become the main star.
See, that's the problem, right? We've talked about it before. They've not been able to keep the aura of any of their main event stars, any wrestler. They've not been able to build upon it. And you need someone to have aura to give the aura to somebody else. So now MJF and Will Ospreay are literally gonna succeed because of themselves.
They have to create the aura themselves, right?
They have to succeed despite the booking. So those who succeed in AEW are true talents and will eventually get picked up by the WWE. So
can I give one more analogy? Like, to me, right, this whole situation speaks of the Ruthless Aggression era, right? Where they didn't have a Stone Cold or The Rock to pass the baton over. They needed to start and regenerate new stars. That's why they had this whole crop of the 2002 class, right? Like the Cena, Batista. They all became stars, but they had to become stars kind of without the rub. Like, they had maybe one time Shawn Michaels, one time Undertaker, that kind of stuff. But again, they had to carry the load. So I guess right now, the MJF, Will Ospreay is in their unenviable position where they have to carry the load, but also become big stars on their own, right? So it's tough. I personally was fine with the match. I wasn't blown away, but I can't get past the fact that they hot-shotted this unnecessarily. Should have saved it.
Look, at the end of the day, right, it was a good match. I'm not saying it was a bad match. It's just really bad booking, to your point. And also, at the end of the day, like, you are watering down what eventually could be an amazing match. And I honestly, I also, like, while it was happening, I got super distracted. I got bored. Once again, watching them. I did. I know it's going to be an hour, so I just like, whatever. Everything else, like, Swerve is such a waste. At this point, right, you give such a highlight to the international championship. Meanwhile, your world championship guy is like, what is Swerve? Like, even his aura is completely gone. Now you have
Rhodes.
him go up against a guy who's universally beloved, who, yes, he's a mega legend, but his aura also gone already.
Yeah.
So
You're talking
world
about Bryan Danielson, right?
Yeah, Bryan Danielson. So you have a face v face match, like no aura match essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's one issue, right? But another issue is they actually had Swerve fight Kazuchika Okada on Dynamite as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the reaction like a lot of people gave, right? Like
Yeah.
whether it's MJF and Ospreay stole the show and then like everyone forgot about the rest of the show, that's fine.
Mm.
But bro, you're world champion
Yeah.
against supposedly the best Japanese wrestler to come out of the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
And again, you made the comparison to Will Ospreay, Okada becoming a bit more like Funaki
Yep.
than necessary. The whole reaction to Mercedes Moné was funny, I have to admit.
Yeah.
Like so hot, you know. That's fine. But when Okada fought, right, and I saw him coming to the ring with the title, you know what's the first thing that came to my mind?
What?
I was like, didn't MJF just won that title? Why is he carrying that title?
It's
Then
a
I'm like,
different title. It's Continental.
correct.
Yeah,
Then I'm like, wait, no, Continental is a different thing. I'm like,
Yes.
wait, why? You know?
Once
So
again, it's the watering down of all the titles. The titles don't mean anything if they are all equally important.
Yeah. Shouldn't the TNT Championship should be the second biggest title?
Who is the
Is it-
TNT champion even? I don't even know.
Bro, Jack Perry, bro.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
I forgot. That. Wow.
Yeah. So that's the situation, right?
But that is to lead into Blood and Guts, which is their next sort of attempt at popping a rating, right? Which is the irony of Team AEW is not the EVPs. Like, do you see the irony there?
Yeah.
So Team AEW is the Acclaimed. You could argue for their spot there, but it kind of doesn't make sense, to be honest. You know?
It should have been FTR, but whatever.
Yeah, FTR, yeah, exactly. Mark Briscoe, who we all love, but he's the ROH champion. Like, why is he Team AEW? He barely is on AEW. Makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. And then I think Swerve Strickland said that he will be part of the team.
Yeah. Swerve Strickland, your world champion, is going to be in a hardcore cage match for no reason. And Darby Allin, I believe.
Yes, Darby Allin made his return last week on AEW. Did the Sting homage.
Yes.
I'm fine because I know Darby, I think, wrestled way before he was supposed to recover from his injury.
Darby just wants to come back and like injure himself. That's all Darby. That's his MO. He will just come back to do some crazy stunt shit.
Yeah, that's fine. But he's back. So like, okay, I would argue out of the group, I would say the Acclaim is a bit of a misfit because the Acclaim in 2022 might have been better because they were hot then. Now they are completely dead and cold.
Yeah.
But another interesting thing was Hangman Page is back with the Elite as a full-blown heel. I'm not saying it's interesting because I'm interested in it. I'm just saying it's saying it's interesting because it's like, oh, okay, Hangman Page is back with the Elite. Okay.
So they did a promo package. I saw this on social media, right? For Blood and Guts. And it was voiced by the Iceman, Dean Malenko. Freaking amazing. You know, his voice is all like low and gruff. And he's like, you know, talking about the two cages and blood, blah, blah, blah. Making it sound very like intimidating.
Yep.
Then they interspersed this with clips of the Young Bucks talking. Immediately killed the mood for me, bro. Dude, like, okay.
Oh, dear God. Yeah.
As somebody who literally works for a living using his voice and doing voiceovers, suddenly my voice went down as I'm talking about this. But like immediately when their voice comes, it's like these annoying, whiny voices that sound fake. That's the big thing about them. They sound like cosplay wrestlers. People cosplaying as wrestlers. They are an SNL skit about wrestling. The second they show themselves, they start talking, immediately the whole package like loses its aura already.
I know what's the issue. I figured it out, bro. The Young Bucks never had I've proven that I'm tough moment in wrestling before. And correct me if you're listening to the podcast right now or on the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. There was a point where everyone thought Randy Orton was just a pretty boy, right? He's just a pretty boy. He's not good enough to be to be a champion or whatever it is. And then he had that match with Mick Foley. Mick Foley literally skinned him alive, made him bleed.
Well, hang on. I get what you're saying, but I want to make a slight tweak to that. Because the fans of the Young Bucks will argue that their matches are way more chaotic. They got ladders, they got thumbtacks, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
But the story was never told. As in, You know what I mean? The example that you've brought up, Randy and Mick Foley, also Edge and Mick Foley, there was a story leading up to that. And they did arguably less crazy shit, but they presented it as crazy shit. For another more recent example, Batista versus Triple H at WrestleMania.
Yep.
It wasn't impressive, like, you know, doing 360s, 450s off ladders into thumbtacks and glass tubes and bullshit like that. No, it was just a very in-your-face, brutal telling of a story.
We're talking about the 2019 WrestleMania 35 match,
yes.
right?
Yeah,
the nose ring. The nose
ring, that spot, right? So it was very gritty and brutal. What wrestling is, it is the performance of violence, of a fight. Whereas with the Bucks, you know, like all the history with the Death Triangle and the Lucha Bros, blah, blah, blah. Their style of matches is all very obvious cooperation. That's why they haven't had that moment where they are regarded as, you know, gritty guys.
Tough son of bitches, right?
Yeah, because all their matches are acrobatic performances. I'm not saying it's not athletic. I'm not saying it doesn't take skill and coordination, but it's so obvious that they're helping each other.
I think you know what they need? They need one time to be in a match with APA. and they need JBL to whack the shit out.
No. I mean,
then they will prove their toughness, right?
Yeah.
Like,
But the irony is, those other matches that we talk about, right? They are trying their best to protect each other while making things look painful. With the Young Bucks, they are actually hurting each other, and their shit doesn't look like it could hurt a fly.
Yeah, I get. You know what? Like, okay, maybe a more modern example. I think Young Bucks need to fight like I don't know, maybe
FTR.
FTR we've seen it, but like maybe like you know, like real bruisers, like fuck, like you don't want to fuck with them. No, not that. Pete Dunne is small size. I'm saying like big. Oh, you know what? They need to fight Jacob Fatu. you know, like fucking like I don't know, like big ass man who's gonna like make a man out of them. You know, you know what I mean?
Okay, to me, it's not about who they fight; it's what the story is that they tell.
No. So the story that they would tell is that they come out of it bloodied, changed forever, and with a badge of honor, like this toughness to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe that's. I just think they're pussies, lah. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that. I personally have nothing against them. I read their book. I fucking bought their Killing the Business book, by the way. But I just find they don't come across as like, oh, fuck, these wrestlers. Even Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy had this air of like, wow, they are wrestlers. Man, they are wrestlers. They got character. They are like, they might do crazy shit, but like, holy shit, you know that kind of thing.
Yeah. They are. I mean, the term they are cosplay wrestlers, I think fits them perfectly. They don't come across as wrestlers. They come across as people wanting to be wrestlers.
Yeah, which is very problematic when you're in your late 30s and supposedly supposed to be the best tag team in the generation or whatever.
Because they refuse to tell. And we've said this a million times, but they found the cheat code, so they're spamming the cheat code.
Yeah. So back to the whole point about this blood and guts, right? I know we are kind of previewing it, but I don't care who wins.
Yeah, no, same. That's exactly who gives a shit. What are the stakes?
What's the payout? What's the payoff? What's Tony Khan gonna be involved in this? What's going on?
And that's the other thing, right? Like Tony Khan, that whole angle where he broke his neck. You look at Raw where Johnny Sins, Adam Pearce is handing out fines and everything that's done has consequences. Over on AEW, you drop the guy, the owner, on his neck, and then a week later he's backstage like nothing happened. There are no consequences and therefore nothing is serious. When you portray things as not serious, you can't take them seriously. And that's the problem with that group in AEW. You talk about what are the stakes of this match. Is it, the EVPs get ousted after this match? Or at least that is something, right? But no, there's no stakes.
Nothing. It's just, why blood and guts? Is it because it's just a yearly pay-per-view? It's like the problem from last time in WWE where just because Hell in a Cell pay-per-view happening, okay, let's have a Hell in a Cell match.
No, that's exactly it. So why are you not learning from WWE? You know, that there are mistakes. So it feels exactly like that. Swerve should be off invading Brian Danielson's home, doing what made him popular in the first place.
Kidnapping babies and threatening them and all that.
He at least threatened Brie Bella or something like that. At least turn him back heel so he's interesting again.
You know what? having Brie Bella somehow inserted the storyline will actually make it interesting to
Oh
me.
yeah, no, exactly. Is she still under contract? No, right? The
No,
Bella
she's
twins.
not.
Done.
She's not. Yeah, she
Yeah.
can just do a one-off appearance as just the wife.
Exactly.
But people will be like, holy shit, Brie Bella is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would
So,
be cool.
Because right now Swerve is stale. Right.
Yeah.
And it's
Swerve is
no
stale.
like he's another one of those guys I realize, right? He needs something to promo against.
Yeah.
If you just let him go out there and ramble, and that's the booking's fault. He doesn't have a clear path of, okay, I'm going to do this, go there, blah, blah, blah. So he's going out there and he's just rambling now. People like him because of who he is.
Yeah. It's not big enough. He should be bigger. She should be a bigger deal, right?
Yeah.
But he's not. And I think of course, it boils down to the booking. Just bad booking of him as a champion.
Because he's been overshadowed by Tony Khan's newest favorite plaything, Will Ospreay.
And
it's as simple as that.
And I would argue as well, he was never supposed to be a champion. My opinion.
Who are you talking about, Swerve?
Swerve, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't part of Tony Khan's master plan to make Swerve a champion.
Yeah.
He got over organically, and they're like, okay, you know what? Swerve got something going on. Let's put him in this spot. But then the moment he put him in this spot, they do not know what to do or how to keep him there.
Yeah. The exact same thing happened with the Acclaim. Acclaim were not supposed to be the guys, right? They got over huge organically. Yeah. They became champions and then completely dropped the ball. Don't know what the hell happened to them.
Yep, exactly. So okay, I'll be fair. I'll talk about some bright spots about Dynamite. Like I generally still curious and invested in Toni Storm and Mariah May. Like I feel like there is something there, especially if Mariah May goes full on vicious mode, especially in London, in front of her hometown. She's actually one of the girls that in AEW that I feel invested towards because I feel like she can wrestle.
Yeah.
She's young. She definitely has the looks and the charisma and the promo skills.
Dude,
so,
you saw her promo where she dressed up and talked like Toni Storm, right?
Yeah.
Did you, for like a lot of moments, did you think, hey, is that Toni or is that Mariah? Like
bro,
she pulled it off.
Bro, all the way until she reached the ring, I thought it was still Toni Storm.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, kudos to them. And once again, it's a case of good talent will make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And the crazy thing, no worries. Like is this a weird hot take? But I'm actually interested in the respective women's championship storylines. like more than like to me, Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné have more heat than Bryan Danielson and Swerve Strickland.
Yeah. No, I will agree. Only because you know why, right? It's only because Mercedes has proven herself to be very hateable, very despisable, even though she was originally planned to be like the baby face.
Okay, at least they are casting her correctly as the heel, right?
They've leaned into it, and kudos to them for that. Yeah.
And I love Britt, right? From the first time I saw her, I thought like her story was cool. She's a dentist, and then she did the whole heel thing. And I think even though she was a heel, she was beloved. Like I remember CM Punk was talking about her and all that. She went away. She had a whole injury thing. Now she's back, and like everyone say that she has more abs than Adam Cole. So I like that out of in my opinion, the OGs, AEW originals, she feels fresh right now. I think because of the time away.
Yeah. And she has a whole story where she had like a stroke or something like that. She talked about it, right? Yeah. And then you have Mercedes Moné dismissing that. So yeah, it's going to be a fun storyline leading up to All In for that one. Yeah. And like you talked about, like Mariah May, honestly, Toni Storm Mariah May is probably the more well-told story, even though the Swerve was kind of like, what? Okay.
Angle over storyline. That's what you say, right?
Yeah, angle over storyline. So, but at least they have something to build from there and they can continue the story. Yeah.
Yeah. So my gut feel on this is that maybe the takeaway from this podcast is like, hey, foreign loves the women's wrestling storylines in AEW right now even more than the men's.
Yeah.
In a weird way, right now, as of this moment, yes, just the stories work. So something's doing something right there, I guess. So
to be honest, right, like after watching AEW Dynamite, I was like, do I want to get back into watching? Do I want to commit again? After that episode, it wasn't enough. Honestly, it just wasn't enough. The aura isn't there anymore.
I think most people that I know, I know there's a few that is still diehard AEW fans, still watch the product regularly here in Singapore, but most of the people just follow social media. Like I personally watched the whole Ospreay MJF on the YouTube channel. They had like 22 minutes out of the full match.
Is it?
On their YouTube channel. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can just go to all the good parts and cut all the extra 40 minutes of unneeded fighting in the stands and all that kind of shit.
Unneeded fighting in, bro. They're telling a story, bro. You are discounting their art, bro.
Well, art is subjective, and I'm not a fan, so it's fine.
Well,
Yeah.
you know my thoughts on that whole 1 hour fiasco already, lah. It's the fact
Yeah.
that I think you're right. The fact that I knew it was going to be 1 hour made me like, not pay attention anymore. After
Yeah.
20 minutes, I'm okay. Like this
Yeah.
is
There is still value in watching things live and let it unfold as it happens.
for sure.
But unless they're gonna have some sort of HBO Max deal, like how WWE gonna have a Netflix deal coming up, I don't think I'll be watching AEW match or show live. I'm not gonna subscribe to Thriller anymore.
Yeah.
Just way too expensive. $12.99 to watch that.
Bro, cannot. Yeah,
I mean,
no.
yeah.
That's exactly. And you don't even get the pay-per-views anymore. I think you used to be able to get the pay-per-views,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they give you some. I mean, it's like, okay, no. I can spend that
$12.99
money on food.
is not worth on Dynamite, Rampage, and
Yeah.
Collision. God damn it.
No. You save that money and go and have good makan, enjoy yourself. Like, go
Yes.
go Lemaq and have a great meal. You feel good about yourself as opposed to you watch AEW, you feel like, hey, what's going on? You feel empty inside. This one will fill you up with the goodness of the food. If you love some Malay cuisine, Indonesian cuisine, boom, there you go. Love the
Yeah,
segue into our sponsor, don't you?
I love it. Respect, man. That's why you're a pro, man. So, like I tell you, bro, like, if you're an AEW fan, you want to watch it regularly and you want to update us, great, right?
Yeah,
But-
please do.
But if you feel like you want to watch good wrestling right now, our humble opinion, WWE right now is the place to be.
I mean,
Things might change. Things might
Yeah.
change in All In too, Like, think they might get back that heat. You never know.
maybe somebody will, give Tony Khan, some fear. Fear for his life again? That's the only way AEW is gonna be interesting.
The craziest shit is like the last time the ratings hit over 800 was literally that segment where they showed the live footage. That was the last time they actually hit over 800. After that, it was just downhill. So
Well, like we talked about, it was a self-inflicted wound because you show that segment and people are like, you're training people to tell them, oh yeah, we'll bait and switch you because nothing interesting happened there. Absolutely
Yeah.
nothing interesting happened there.
yeah.
TV, at the end of the day, right? TV, most media is about training your audience week in and week out what to expect. If you watch a Raw, you expect some weird shit to happen. No, once in a while it doesn't deliver, you're like, okay, but the past few weeks we've seen something interesting happen, therefore I will watch back. Whereas with AEW, it's been, okay, dropped storylines, inconsistent...
No follow-ups.
Yeah, exactly. So you're so used to it to a point where it's like, even if my favorite wrestler were to have a marquee win, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, we want to watch wrestling because it's good. If I feel like I'm obligated to watch wrestling because I have to watch wrestling,
Yeah.
then I will not enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like for example, we're doing the podcast, right? Like we will definitely kind of keep an eye on whatever that's happening throughout the week, whether it's WWE or AEW. But if I go out of my way to sort something, like for example, people will say like the Rowan promo was so good.
Yeah.
I actually seeked it out, right?
Mm.
Then I know, okay, this thing actually got my attention and spoke
Yep.
to me. So
Yep. No, people talked about it. You went to seek it out and it delivered. You
Yeah.
see? So it's like positive. Whereas a lot of times with AEW, it's like, oh, something interesting happened. Then you actually watch the show, but the show itself was kind of meh. It was a letdown.
yeah.
So it's a negative.
Until they can consistently put out like really good segments one after the other, it's still gonna be like that, right? Because
Well,
the matches are good, sure, but the stories leading up to doesn't make me want to care about the match, which kind of is a bad thing, right?
So I hope that the knee-jerk reaction thing is not going to be something consistent because that is the last thing they need. You got Iron Man's quote unquote, 1 hour match, 1 week, then now you got Blood and Guts, then what's next week? Are they going to do a submission match? Like if they start booking like that, then you know that they're desperate and it's going to lead to people not caring anymore.
My hope is that they see the issues. Maybe I don't even mind they take one step back to move 2 steps forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of the things I heard, and I saw a bit of Collision this morning, as we are recording here on a Sunday. Collision actually was interesting because do you know that they actually went to a smaller arena?
Oh, is
They
it?
went to this thing called esports arena. I do not know where they were exactly, but it was more of like maybe like a 5,000 seater. It was more compact, and actually the crowd was full, bro, for the first time.
So it looked good lah.
Yeah, it looked good. It looked good. So I haven't seen the matches yet. I'm gonna check it out maybe after the podcast. But
Do you want
maybe
me
they are
to
listening.
Do you want me to spoil something? Because I saw what happened.
Yeah, for sure.
The-
So
the-
but you did see the stage lah, or saw the crowd?
no, I only saw the like the winner graphic
Yeah.
because the patriarchy now have the trios championship.
Okay. So another weird thing, I know a lot of people don't watch Collision anymore, but they actually been doing the whole Bang Bang Gang
Yep.
storyline on Collision.
Yep.
And Collision was where we had an awesome series of matches last year between FTR and the Bullet Club Gold, right?
Yes.
Do you know that Juice Robinson has been back 2 months?
Correct. I know. I saw some clips. My question is, because I saw the promo on Dynamite where the Bang Bang Gang, so it's the two gun boys and Juice Robinson, were cutting a promo against the patriarchy. I'm like, aren't they both heel teams? What is going on? So that confused the
Yeah.
shit out of me. I was like, huh?
Yeah. They were heels. They were heels up until they got stripped of the storyline, and now they are against the patriarchy. I have no idea why.
Yeah.
So, and I know JY is injured currently, so
Oh,
there's
no
also
wonder.
a reason why they got stripped of the titles. But I guess they don't play freebird rules in AEW.
Wait. So he's stripped of the title because he's injured, but there's still 3 of them there, what?
Exactly. No, so that was what happened on last week's Collision, where like, even though JY was injured, and then suddenly Juice kind of promo say, hey, even though they're injured, but I will step in, I will be the third man, I will be the freebird rule. And then this random Christopher Daniels come out and say, nope, we're not gonna do that, we're gonna shoot the title. And I'm like, okay, so you don't like that one lah. Freaking the freebirds lah.
It's
Poor Michael, what's his name?
Hayes.
Michael Hayes, yeah.
it's inconsistent booking. It's absolutely, we just want to justify what we want to do at the given time, so we'll just do it like that. It's,
My hope is that we can actually do a podcast where we can talk positive about AEW like the whole time.
you
hope.
might have to go back like 4 years for that.
Yeah, I think listen back to if those people who say that we shit on AEW too much, go listen back to our 2019 podcast, 2020 podcast, 2021 when CM Punk came to AEW, bro.
Yeah.
We were singing their praises, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Okay, come. We
Yes.
talked about WWE, AEW, lots of great stuff happening on the local scene as well. And once again, we want to jump to our other sponsor of the podcast, the guys over at SPW. SPW Hardcore Island 2 is happening on the 16th of August, and leading up to it, okay, I got to head down to Clash at the Club this past Friday. It was at Ion Club, which is at Balmoral Plaza. Basically a Siam Dui lah. Okay, if you don't know what Siam Dui is, it's a drinking, it's like a club. To be honest, not that much dancing happens. Some people do dance, but it's mostly for the ladies who are working there to do the dancing, do the singing, and show off their skills. And then the patrons who, at the point would be drinking, right? They would perhaps enjoy what one of the performers has done, and they would pay for a sash. It's a very popular thing that is done in Thailand. That's
Bro,
why-
I'm curious, bro. So that when you went to Clash at the Club last Friday, right?
yeah.
What did you tell your wife?
I'm going to a wrestling event that just so happens to be happening at a Siam Dui.
Oh, so you did tell her specifically you're going to some view lah.
No. But let me explain what a Siam Dui is for those of us who are a little bit too innocent.
Okay,
So
okay,
essentially, this whole concept started mostly in Thailand. Right, these big clubs where you have dancers on stage, you would pay, like the quote unquote the mama san or whoever will be walking around with these sashes. They could be $50, $100, $1,000. You would pay them to put the sash on your favorite girl, quote unquote. So you're paying for the attention of somebody maybe you fancy. In a lot of ways, it's, they don't do anything. You're not paying for that kind of stuff. You're just, maybe if you spend a little bit more, they might come and hang out with you, have a couple of drinks with you, pay you a bit more attention. Okay, you get where we're going with this, right?
Yeah, fair enough. You're paying for their company lah.
Yeah, essentially in fewer words lah. So that's exactly
Escort. What?
No. See, no, they are not that, bro. Don't. You are just appreciating what they do by buying garlands and sashes for them, and if you all make a deal outside, is your tai chia. I want nothing to do with anything lah. But they're just there to hang out and have a couple of drinks. There you go.
Oh, okay. I'm
So-
just saying. I don't mind paying someone for my company, but yeah, lah, it's called an escort, lah. I'm saying, lah.
Okay. Anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
we might have to delete the last 30 seconds of what we just talked about. That's the whole idea of what a Siam Dui is,
No
right?
lah, bro. I went army, I've hung out with my
Okay.
my group of army friends after we book out. I know what something is. Generally, it's like if you love Thai music, listening to Thai songs, you get a lot of great Thai music. Just that's probably the best takeaway for me lah.
Okay, a lot of them, the Siam Duis, they play Mando pop as well because a lot of their clientele is that demographic as
Okay,
well, and it's
fair
no
enough.
longer just Thai girls. They got Korean girls from China, blah blah blah, that kind of thing lah. It's just that it originated. This whole idea originated. A lot of it came from Thailand. That's why the Siam is in the Siam Dui. Dui is like 吊花 in Chinese, what they call presenting the garland over your head. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
that's,
I'm learning something new today. That's cool.
hey, that's how. It's not like I'm an expert. Okay, I'm a good boy. I've only ever been once in Thailand. This was a work trip. Anyway, that was many years ago.
I have so many questions, but you know what? Let's proceed.
Bro, it's the most boring thing. Literally nothing happened. I was just there with friends. They wanted to go. And bro, in Thailand, they do it big, bro. This is like big stage. Imagine the old school zoo. Like the huge ass stage. And then you literally could buy. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is the whole Clash at the Club happened before all the quote unquote Siam Dui action.
I see. Why you never tell this 10 years ago when I was single, bro? Alamak. I would have actually checked it out. I mean, when I say go to Thailand and actually check out the real deal. The real
bro.
deal.
No, bro, you are, Anyway, not that vibe of a person. Anyway, it's like drinking all this haram lah, bro. Cannot.
Hey, yeah, that's why. What am I talking
You
about?
talk nonsense.
Astaghfirullahaladzim. Okay, anyway, can we talk about the wrestling? Can we stick to the
let's
wrestling,
talk
bro?
about
Let's go.
wrestling.
Let's stick to the wrestling right now.
Oh
Come.
gosh, Clash at the Club, man. First of all, okay, going into it, right? The first thing I thought, this is a club, so they got the mat set up. It's no ring, so it's going to be a very different. So I was very interested to see how they would work around the fact that there was no ring, no ropes, that kind of thing.
Yes.
I was expecting more brawling, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Right. There was a lot more brawling, because in a club you're in a tighter space, right? So a lot of the shit is happening right in front of your eyes.
Wait, so did they lay out a mat in the middle of the dance floor?
Yes,
Or they did it?
They did. So they had the table set up like right up against the dance floor. And if you got there early, you got a good seat, so you could sit right at the tables, right in front of the dance floor, which is the
mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
they
gotcha.
would do their stuff, And it started with Froyce, he's the man, he's hyping up the crowd, right? He's getting everyone to yum sing because, it's a club. What do you want,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
And he gets interrupted by Statement and the Midnight Bastards.
Nice. Okay,
Of
so they
course.
started off the show.
Yes, they kick things off because he's like, oh no, this is Statement Pro Wrestling. I should be the one doing the yum sing, blah, blah, blah. And if you saw my video on social media and at the start of the podcast as well, you'll see that they didn't get their yum sing through. Oh, you got the thumbs up and everything. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. It's like you giving me a sash.
Okay.
It's the modern version of a flower, bro.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
This
We
is
got-
the magic of Apple, bro. Give a thumbs up, you get a celebration, bro.
Bro, fireworks, bro. Hey, if you think about it, that's what happens on TikTok now. You buy these gifts. It's essentially what is happening in a digital space. You're buying gifts for someone who's performing.
That's why, guys, you have to help us reach at least 1,000 subscribers, and then you all can start donating all these thumbs up to us. That's the way.
Okay. Anyway, they were interrupted by the faces. So you got Black Arrow, you got Mighty, who's apparently back at being Mighty. No longer Big T.
Yeah, he's back. I guess it's a face turn because he has been
Yeah.
kicked out of. I'm not too sure, but
Statements
he's back.
group there. Yeah. So he's back as Mighty doing his, lovable big guy routine and Destroyer Dama.
Nice.
So-
So wait, did they have chemistry? Because I know Mighty Dragon was a thing. Black, what was it? Mighty Arrow. Sorry, Mighty Arrow was
Arrow.
a thing, and then Dharma is kind of like a random, I guess, ally to them.
Yeah.
So how did they work as a team?
I think they were fine. I don't know if they had much chemistry together, to your point, because they're not really a team lah. But essentially, this whole thing was a brawl to start with anyway. So you just sort of kick off the night with them just like, brawl, how dare you interrupt my yam sing, blah, blah, blah. Then they fight to the back, you know? So it sort of sets the tone for the evening.
On the flip side, how were this newly formed trio of the Statement and Midnight Bastards, how did they work together?
Oh, I think they work together really good because obviously you can tell there's chemistry between them. I think for those of you who know, they hang out too, like, you know, outside of what they do on the ring, on the mat, stuff like that. So I think you can tell the chemistry there.
Don't they give you legacy vibes? Legacy,
A bit,
you know what I mean?
a little bit. So you got the veteran who is, you know, aligning himself with the up-and-comers, right?
Yeah.
And there are three very different heels if you think about it. And we'll get to it when we talk about the match itself. But this was just like the kickoff to the show, right?
Okay.
Interestingly enough, sitting next to me was a lady who I believe was a guest of one of the wrestlers, and she she had never watched a wrestling match before.
Oh, so how was the reaction? Or how could you tell?
The first thing that happened, she turned to me, she asked me, "Are they fighting for real?" So I was like, "Oh, okay, well, they sold it."
She asked in Chinese or in Korean?
She's Korean, so she asked in English, broken English, but English nonetheless.
So are they fighting for real?
What is the horrible? No, bro. This is a horrible.
No, because
Korean
you tell me she
accent.
doesn't know. She spoke English but broken English, right? I'm just wondering because you said she doesn't speak English, but how she managed to talk to you in a way that you understand.
But they acting they something like that.
Oh, okay. So she motioned. Okay, got you.
Yeah, so it's interesting to literally be sitting next to someone who has no idea what this art form is about.
That must have been fun.
It was.
Seeing her reaction.
Yeah, so she was like, legit taken aback at first. But then when I explained to her what pro wrestling was, in the simplest forms I could master, then she was like, okay, I understand. Because once again, it was because, you know, language barrier and stuff like that lah.
So you didn't need Duolingo to tell her what's happening lah?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
But our first official match was Trickster versus Iman.
Okay, go for it.
Poor Trickster, you know, he's currently serving his nation. So on Friday, on Friday, Army
So
boys,
he book out, then he straight away go rest.
go Siam Dui, but not to do Siam Dui things, to actually wrestle, which is hilarious in its own little meta world.
I love it. And of course, Eman, I guess, is kind of like one of those up and coming baby faces for the promotion.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing Stricter was the de facto heel here, yeah?
No, so it was the other way around. So this is a different side of Iman.
Okay.
Like, as you know, I have missed the past couple of SPW events because of work, right? But I remember Iman as a quote unquote, a baby face.
Yeah.
He
was.
Yeah, he grew out the mustache a bit, got a bit of facial hair, and he was being a dick to to the Trickster. And I actually enjoyed it. You know, it didn't seem forced. He was basically tekaning Kyle about, you are my senior lah, F you lah, you know, there were like middle fingers thrown and stuff like that.
Okay, very, very cool. And I guess Trickster, for him being in the club, seems like the perfect environment for him. Did he pull out a bit of the magic tricks, bro?
Oh, of course, he had the string coming out of his mouth.
Nice.
And I love this one spot where he basically had Iman down. I can't remember what move he did, but he had Iman down, right?
Yeah.
Then he goes to one of the patrons. He does a card trick, and then he's like, it's one of those. It was kind of out of my periphery. I couldn't see it very clearly, but he basically gets the guy to pick a card, right?
Yeah.
And then he does a shuffle. Then he hantam this Iman one time. All the cards fly away. But he only has one card left in his hand. Was this your card? It was. Oh, so that was
wow. Okay, that's cute. That's
it was a card trick in a wrestling match, which I thought was quite... I mean, if there's any place to do it, it's here lah, you know?
Shout out to Trickster, and that was a very interesting, innovative little sequence right there, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, okay, to be fair, if you are trying to look at this from a logical standpoint, right? Him doing the whole bit with the shuffling and showing, it did take a while. It's like, what, Iman died there? Is it why it takes so long? Yeah?
She died for 5 minutes, is it?
Yeah. Like, if you look at it with a very critical eye, that doesn't work. Okay. But with alcohol in a club, I think you just let things go a bit lah.
Dear God. Okay, got you.
But
so
you know what I mean, right?
I do. So I guess it was a fun opener. Who got the victory this match?
So Iman,
Yeah.
I kind of unfortunately, I missed the finish, but I know Iman picked up the win after some devastating. I remember seeing him do something with Kyle's arm, and it looked quite like legit. But Iman got the win. Now, I'll tell you why I was a bit distracted.
Okay.
Should I give away the? Okay, no, never mind. I was distracted because I was talking to somebody on Facebook, on Instagram. Someone was DMing me stuff, and that's it. I'll leave it at that.
Wait. You don't tell me this kind of thing and then don't tell me what's going on. Who was DMing you, bro?
As a wrestling fan, I still believe in it. I believe in a thing called kayfabe.
I see. Okay.
Bro, connect the dots because we're going to talk about the next match.
Okay,
which,
gotcha.
You know, as an impartial observer, I typically don't want to get involved, but sometimes you got to stand up for what is right, bro.
Ooh,
Yes.
okay, Mr. Young.
By the way, if you want to know my star ratings for all the matches, you can always head to our Patreon. All these ratings matter towards the Singapore Wrestler top 20 rankings, right? So I just wrote the whole thing. I was actually very excited to write it out. Bro, I think you might have unlocked the writer in me. Anyway.
That's the way, bro. I like to hear that. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Okay, go.
Okay, the next match was BGJ and Meta. Now, BGJ, his usual tag team partner is...
what do you call it? CBK.
Yeah, BGJ and CBK, right? Jack and Cheese, right? But Cheese wasn't around, so Meta subbed in.
So basically, sub in one masked wrestler for another lah.
Yeah, pretty much. Versus Bryson Blade and CK Vin, who we've had on the show before. Yes. What I thought was very interesting here, this dynamic was, Bryson Blade was the one doing more of the crowd work, the heel work, like, flipping off crowd and like getting in people's faces. For whatever reason, CK Vin was a little bit more in the background here. I don't know if it's a thing where CK is like, okay, you go and do your thing and shine. So he's letting Blade have more of the shine because CK already has that. Remember the briefcase?
Yeah. The briefcase, their money in the bank.
Their money in the bank, right? So he already has quote unquote a target on a person we'll talk about later lah.
My question is like, are they doing the same WWE trope where you win the money in the bank, then suddenly you are always in the background, not really featuring in storylines, so people forget about you? Yeah,
I think so. I think that might be it. I mean, okay, in a way you could also explain it like, oh yeah, well, I already have a guaranteed title shot. Why do I have to put in effort? So from a character standpoint, if you want to, kayfabe it that way.
And just to be clear, CK Vin has the option to cash in on any title, including the world title, right?
I forget what exactly the...
Yeah, I can't remember what is the name of that briefcase.
But previously, he attacked Black Arrow. So...
Yes, I remember this, okay.
So you kind of like that's foreshadowing which championship he's going to go for lah.
Yes, the Singapore Championship. I remember this, okay.
Yes. So yeah, that was my takeaway from this. You had Meta, who was... He was kind of there to be the guy that gets beat up. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Because BGJ is the guy who gets the hot tag and starts wrecking shop lah. But
wait, how do they do a tag sequence if there's no ropes? Where do they standing at the side?
They stand in the corner. Then I go up to you and tag lah. Okay. If you try to apply logic to this, it breaks down very fast.
Because technically you can just fucking go inside and fight. Why you have to wait there?
Exactly. No, I mean, once again, if you try to apply logic to this, it all breaks down, okay? So
but when you're drunk, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. You don't care about logic. So, to start things off, Bryson gets up in, like, the area where we are and starts talking shit to the lady next to me. Remember the lady I was talking about who speaks Korean? The Korean lady?
Okay.
So, he's laying into both of us, talking about, hey, you paid somebody to be your date here today, is it? So
wait, he's saying it to you or saying to
us? So he's insinuating that she was a lady of the night. I don't know what the...
First of all, Bryson Blade, have you not followed Mr. Young? Don't you know he's happily married? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but it's fine, So whatever it was, he was like laying in the insults, insulting her honor. So your boy had to take a stand, bro. Your boy had to stand up off his seat, right?
Okay.
And be like, hey man, that's not a cool way to talk to a lady. What's wrong with you? Didn't your mama teach you some manners? And then he was all like, what you gonna do about it? And so I gave him a 5-finger explanation as to what I was going to do about it across his face, bro.
Wow, so you gave him the 5-knuckle shuffle with your
No,
palm?
not the 5-finger explanation.
Oh, 5-finger. Oh, gotcha. You basically laid the smackdown on his candy ass.
Literal smack. So,
Wait,
yeah.
Mr. Young, you smacked him across the face?
Yeah, I slapped him across the face.
Why is this not recorded? Why is nobody recording this and tagging you, bro?
Yeah, if you were at the event and you have footage of this, please, please send it over so I can get this.
Damn, Mr. Young. Okay,
archived.
you know what?
Yeah.
I would actually support that, but also I worry if that video was on social media. I don't know how you're gonna explain this to your wife as well. So I want to protect you, bro. Try to
bro, it's fine. You know, this is non-canon. You know, this is
sitting beside a hot Korean girl is non-canon right now.
No, it's non-canon. Like I said, you know, I'm being a gentleman. I'm standing up for something that was, bad. Right.
So you're being a mother-father gentleman. That's what you're trying to be.
And this is also linked to what I said earlier about me being distracted and getting DMs. Without giving everything away. So anyway, so that whole thing sort of established the Bryson Blade as this like irritating heel, which, you know what? I appreciate that his character is a little bit more of a brash upfront heel in your face, as opposed to the brooding edgelord that he used to be. Do you remember this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He used to be like this, like angry child, quiet.
Very interesting. I'm assuming the crowd like pop hard for that sequence, bro.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Dude next to me was like, hey, what happened? Are you okay? Like they bought into that shit. So I was like, okay. I was like, cool, man.
Giving me the Hugh Jackman against Dolph Ziggler vibes. I see. That's great.
There you go.
That's great. Okay.
So that established, and that's the other thing. The whole time, CK like in a corner quiet. So I was like,
Why? Why? Very interesting.
Right? So to me, Bryson worked a lot of the heel heat here. And then when BJJ gets the tag, his House of Fire and his intensity is there. You can feel his intensity, and he demolished Bryson Blade. Poor guy.
He didn't what?
He demolished Bryson Blade.
Oh yeah, demolished. Okay, gotcha.
So the finish was Bryson got like a bottle of beer.
Wow, okay.
Tsing Tsao beer, right? Smashed it over the head of BJJ.
Holy shit, serious?
Yeah. And BJJ in a, I don't know what you would call it, an Ultimate Warrior moment, turned around and was like, he did the whole, are you serious? Are you fucking serious?
Yes.
And then he, like, okay, usually I'm like, I don't know about the no sell, but I think because BJJ is a huge guy and the intensity, I think it sold it for him. It made it work, right? Yeah. And then the very next move was BJJ completely taking Bryson Blade's head off with a short arm clothesline.
Wow, okay. That sounds like a very emphatic finish, and I'm assuming that's where he got the win.
Yeah, that's exactly where he got the win. Dude, he got the win, and I got some glass shots in my Coke, so hey.
Wait, so when you pick out the glass shot, did it crumble in your fingers, or was it?
No comment, bro. No comment.
Okay.
Bro.
We leave it there. For those who were there, they know. If you know, you know.
It's still real to a lot of people, bro.
Yes, damn it, indeed. Damn it. Okay.
Okay, so then we go into the intermission. Once again, like I said, I enjoyed it because I always believe that good heels make the job easier for the face. Not to say that the faces didn't do anything. When you fire out, you got to have that fire and that intensity, right?
Yeah.
So the one that really stood out to me were BJJ and Bryson. But let's not forget the ones that sort of like held the rest of the match up together, CK and Meta.
Could this be a prelude to your star ratings that you gave for the match? I wonder. Huh?
Could it be? I don't know. Well, you'll have to check out. Like, I mean, there's a 4 somewhere in there.
Okay, there's a 4 for sure. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so after intermission, we come back. We got Aiden Rex versus Riz. Okay, this is a very interesting match because it is a straight up face-face match. They literally shake hands.
Okay, so this is pure, basically it's like a babyface versus babyface honor match.
Let's just leave it on the mat and see what happens. So of all the matches, this was the least, the one that had the least bottles and kendo sticks and chairs, the least quote-unquote hardcore match.
Pure wrestling match.
Pure wrestling match. I mean, people jumped off like the stage and shit like that, but that's still within the confines of wrestling, right?
Curious to know, like why do you think Riz got this spot? Because it's like to me, Aiden Rex is still like one of the top stars, right?
Yeah.
And even though yes, he recently lost the title, he's technically still a draw, right, for them.
Yeah.
So why they insert him with a few? Was this like a random one-off, like testing their mic against each other? Or why was Riz in that position, in your opinion?
See, here's the thing, right? I don't know what the storyline, if there was a storyline leading up to it was, but to me, watching the match, it felt a lot like Aiden giving Riz a chance to prove himself, and in a lot of ways, raising Riz up to his level. Because if he can hang with Aiden, that means he must be at that level, or somewhere around that level.
Gotcha. Because why I ask you this question is because you weren't in the previous show. I believe, was it Stronghold or the other one after that? I can't recall which event where Riz actually got betrayed by his former tag team partner from the Wolfram Cartel.
Was it Ignition, by the way?
I think it was Ignition, yeah. It could be the May show. But he was betrayed. And I remember he was heartbroken. He was he had tears in his eyes. The crowd was like really had full of sympathy for him. So I do not know whether there's a social media video out there that I missed where maybe Aiden came and like console him and like, hey, maybe this is a chance for you to get back on your feet, giving you a match opportunity. I do not know. But I'm just curious to know that what's that storyline holds, for Riz.
If anything, right, like I said, I think it might have been Aiden's way of elevating a guy who's now, he's got that attention because he was just kicked out of his group, right? So let's have him have a competitive match with a guy who is a main event guy.
So my next question is, how did Riz perform in that position?
I think he went move for move. He had a good showing, and I think they accomplished, and that's why this is what I feel the match was for. They accomplished what they set out to do, and that is to elevate Riz in the eyes of the viewers or the wrestling fans, to be like, oh, okay, actually this guy can hang with Aiden. Maybe he's not quite there yet, but he, and the whole thing was about respect. Handshake at the start, handshake at the end. There was a lot of counter wrestling, at the start, mat work. Has Aiden been doing the Sue thing a lot recently?
The Sue, Ronaldo thing?
The Ronaldo thing, yeah. Because he did this several times.
I don't think so. Is this something new?
I don't know. Maybe it's it's in the club.
Maybe he's been watching the Euros lah. Then recently he pro football. I don't know. Maybe.
So he was like, so I was like, that's the most quote unquote. I'm not saying he doesn't look like he's having fun, but that's the most crazy
personality.
Wow, I didn't say that. Okay. But like him doing the Sue, I was like, what's going on? Okay, that's fine. I like it. I'm cool with that.
Sometimes when you lose the title, you go through a phase lah. Maybe he's I'm just gonna go Ronaldo mode for these next few matches. Maybe that's it.
Well, there you go. So he eventually wins when Riz makes a mistake. So he does the swanton off the staging area, which is amazing to me because it's not like, the turnbuckles is quite high, right? The staging area is a lot lower. It's like almost a swanton from the middle turnbuckle.
Gotcha.
If you think about it. But he misses it because Aiden gets out of the way. Aiden goes in, snaps on the rear naked choke into the armbar, tap out, win.
Love it. Always been a fan of, Aiden Rex's wrestling. That's his strongest suit. And I like the fact that I think he's kind of sticks out like a sore thumb in the club. Yeah. But maybe he brings a bit of that prestige, in the way he wrestles. I think he's like, I wouldn't say he's like Ricochet, but maybe more of like, who would you consider like a very technical wrestler?
Technical wrestler, Daniel Bryan?
No, he's not really, because Daniel Bryan has a bit of this roughness and grittiness. I think he's a bit like Park. Park, but a skinny Park. Or because, you know what I mean? Like Park is a technical wrestler, but he can fly, but he also has that. There's something about his wrestling that's very smooth.
But Park also has that grittiness now. And it's not because of the beard. He does have that grittiness. So I think your initial comparison might have been the more accurate one, which is Ricochet. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know. But maybe if you're listening, please give us your thoughts. Like, who do you liken Aiden Rex to? Because he's not full on Zack Sabre Jr., where he's just all just this great grappling and stuff. He does high flying as well. So but the thing is, why I don't think he's full Ricochet, because Ricochet feels always like just a mid-carder.
Right.
But Aiden has this championship prestige to him. The way he carries himself, the way he wrestles. So I don't know. Yeah.
That's a
Interesting
good
way.
question, and we'll see if anybody in chat has something to weigh in on that. Okay, then like I said, they shake hands. End of the match, right? Now we talk about the main event, the statement and the Midnight Bastards versus Destroyer Dama and Mighty Arrows.
Yeah, yeah.
Not Mighty
Well,
Arrow.
And relaying to our previous episode where we actually had a contest for one of our listeners to give us their thoughts on what should be the name of this new faction between the Statement and Midnight Bastards. And I think this is the right time to bring up the little exclusive that you gave.
That's right. So, okay, I actually got to speak with the boys, right? Right after their big victory. Hang on, let me see if I can pull it up right here. And here we go.
Yo, we are here
Oh,
with
wait.
the winners
Where
of
you
the
go,
main
there you
event
go.
tonight. It's the Statement Andrew Tang.
They look drunk and ready to party, really, bro.
The one and only. Check it out. Check out the championship. Ayo.
5 times SPW Southeast Asia champion. Fucking bitches.
And of course, his partners, the Midnight Bastards.
They look drunk already, huh? Oh, check out,
Yeah.
the apps come out already. Apps come out already.
Drunk already, ready to strip already.
What do you guys expect? Huh? The main event, this is just a warm-up.
So RJ is like,
Come for
what do you
Hardcore
expect?
Island 2.
Oh, the Mattel
Okay?
come out already,
We're gonna
bro.
do it again.
No.
Okay, we got the
Damn.
judges coming in.
Here's
as well,
the big
Mattel and
announcement.
everything.
So yes, Mr. Young, you've been asking us,
Yes.
what's our faction name?
Oh, do we have an official name?
Yes.
Okay.
From now on, the three of us take a look at these beautiful faces. Will be named as the State of Bastards.
There you go. The State
Because
of Bastards.
everyone arena
I love it.
will be
S.O.B..
chanting S.O.B.
B.
S.O.B. S.O.B.
And there you go. Cheers all around with the Mattel, and then
Bro, it's perfect, bro. It's perfect.
it is, and it's very easy to chant as well. You know, whenever you come out with stuff to chant, you have to make it easy for people to chant, right? S.O.B. Bro.
Did they come up to you after the match and like say, hey, by the way, we already decided this is our name, or like
No.
how did they tell you?
No, literally, I went to them. I was like, hey, bro, you want to do a post-match interview? They're like, yeah, sure. And then he just dropped it
Damn.
on us. Right there and then.
So shout out to the winner of our contest last week, Faris Farhan. He actually came out with the suggestion State of Bastards.
Mhm.
And we read it by statement. We put it on our WhatsApp with him and he was like, yes, that is good. So, but the whole SOB, I didn't even think it was SOB.
Yeah.
Didn't put 2 and 2 together, but it's perfect for their
It-
character, right?
It really is. It really is. So, I mean,
There you go.
I think this is the birth of a faction. It feels like a DX moment. You know, when
Yeah.
Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they cut that one promo. You still remember that promo, right? Where they are like kind of stumbling over each other. You know, we're degenerates. You know what? You want to call us degenerates? How about this? Degeneration X. You know,
Yeah.
it feels like that sort of a moment. And
Yeah.
I'm very glad to have been a part of it. Mattel
Bro.
and everything.
Amazing, bro. It's literally like Hulk Hogan saying, we are the new world, order
Yeah.
of pro wrestling, brothers. The NWO, like it's perfect. And we got it, the exclusive here on the podcast. I can't wait to see SOB dominate SPW for the rest of the year. They're gonna be interesting, bro.
Yeah, which is very interesting for the Hardcore Island main event because I don't know, like if they are the new hot heel faction, right? Means they gotta win, what? But okay, we won't jump the gun. We'll do the preview next time. But let's talk about this match itself. Okay, statement: Mighty and the Midnight Bastards versus Destroyer Dama and Mighty Arrow. Right off the bat, you got 3 different heels, but they're very different heels.
Yeah. Let me
Which
know
is-
why.
Okay, very interesting. So, okay, you got Statement, who's sort of like an amalgamation of like a Ric Flair, but he's obviously more muscular and big size than Ric Flair. So he's like the cocky, arrogant legend heel, right?
Okay.
Then you
Gotcha.
got RJ, who's the stoic heel. Like his face is, or even in that moment in the club where he's just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's that vibe. He's the emo guy.
Yeah, not even him. He's like, what? You were expecting something else? No what? Like he's a stoic heel. And then of course you got Mason. And my description of him in my write-up, should I? Yeah, I'll just give
sure.
it away. He's like,
Give it a tease.
he's like the guy you love to hate, but he's the guy that guys love to hate because he's tall, he's good looking, he got abs, but the girls want to change him. He's the bad boy. You know what I mean?
Oh, so he's giving fuckboy vibes lah.
Yeah, oh my
Fuckboy
god,
vibes.
that's perfect. Hashtag fuckboy.
You know what? Knowing him from the brief time we spoke last week on the podcast,
Yeah.
he'll take it as a compliment, bro.
Yeah,
Call him a
no, for sure.
fuckboy.
And it works for him. I feel like it works for him. And I think that Statement sees that in him, you know,
Yeah.
because very simply, very easily, you could change him face.
Yes.
You just have to introduce certain storyline elements. He can very easily be a crowd favorite, but right now he's living out his heel life. So
If there was a SPW romance angle, right? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? If there's a SPW romance angle, I see him as like maybe okay. I'll just give you a random. Aiden Rex having a romance with this like pretty young girl, you know, but then he fight against the freaking Mason, and then Mason somehow caught the eye of this pretty young girl, and he's like, I know you want me. You know what I mean? I know you want me, girl. Go behind this Aiden Rex and come to me. And then,
Bro.
like, you know, next thing you know, she did, bro, because she can't resist him, bro. No, this is gonna be
you're right.
next
Do
le-
some fantasy booking, bro. I like it though. That's
I
the
love
thing.
it.
I like it. Yeah.
Singapore Channel 5 drama. Let's go.
Immediately, we're seeing Mason out there, right? I'm thinking of all the potential feuds that could happen, and to me, like that's a sign of somebody who's like, okay, I think he could be the next guy.
Is he
main
the
guy.
the Austin Theory of the company right now?
A little bit, yes. You know, that's a great way to put it. I mean, I don't want a fantasy book here, but you know who I think would be great foil for him when you talk about that girl, sort of like have a girl in the mix? BGJ, bro.
Ooh,
If you
BJJ is the what is he to Mason?
So he is like the perennial nice guy who finally is getting attention from a girl, but the girl is paying attention to Mason because she is interested in the fuckboy.
Bro, is this Otis and Dolph Ziggler all over again?
Yes,
And Mandy
dude!
Rose?
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Okay, right now Mandy Rose is a free agent.
Yeah, yeah.
SPW, do whatever you need to bring Mandy Rose to
Hey, no,
SPW.
no, like it doesn't have to be Mandy Rose. Somebody else can play the role of Mandy Rose, right? But you can see those things sort of forming,
Yeah, I get you.
can't you?
Bro, can SPW do a romance angle, please?
The problem
Please.
is they need more female wrestlers.
Yeah, they need more girls.
They
lah,
need
yeah.
they have female wrestlers, but they're usually guests. You need female
Yeah.
wrestlers who will stick around, or don't involve a wrestler, just involve a
Valet.
valet. Yeah, you know.
Hey, statement, you got the connections. Can't you get one of the influencers, those Tropic Thunder girls or like Tropic Monster or like
What
Three
is
Potatoes?
Tropic
or...
Monster?
I
What
don't know.
are
I'm just combining all the YouTube channels.
What are you
together.
even talking about?
Or get
sia?
somebody from SGAG, you know, one of the girls, just play this role lah. Favor. This is for the wrestling community, bro. And I hope you're listening to the podcast because we are a treasure trove of just ideas waiting for you to just use any one of this. Free of charge. Go for it.
Gosh. Yeah, sure. But anyway, so yeah, this was like I said, you had Black Arrow basically getting worked over a lot in the match, right? Because you have two big guys waiting for the tag so they can do their thing. So it was a very logical match, you know. Kendo sticks and chairs came into play. You had Mighty jumping off the stage, cannonball style. Well, not really cannonball, but you know what I mean, lah.
Holy shit, Mighty jump on them.
Yeah, he jumped. It's in the the preview package.
I saw that, and I also saw him sitting on RJ. So
Yes,
poor
so
fella. I
he
hope
did,
he's okay.
He did the old Yokozuna sit down thing.
Oh dear God. Okay.
Yeah, so it was fun. Like, it had all the spots that you would expect out of a match like this. And, kudos to RJ, like, every time Mighty hit him with something like that, sit down, right, you could see in his face like he was going to die. So
His
he
eyes
sold-
popping out like a fishbowl. I see.
no, he sold that shit well.
Yeah, that's
so-
great. That's great. And what about like Dharma? Because he's technically not really part of the team. He's like an ally. How did he work together with it? And how was Dharma's performance?
I feel like, okay, maybe because this was a foreign location, something different, I felt like maybe he was a little bit more tentative than usual. Like, usually
Okay.
when we see him in the ring, he's upped his intensity a little bit more, right? But
I see.
maybe because, like, it's like if he were wrestling on the ring side the entire match. So I felt like it was, maybe a little bit more tentative on his side.
I've heard from like following his social media that he's kind of prepping for his
Yes.
Singapore bodybuilding championship or something like that, where he's defending his crown. So
Correct.
he's a bit off prep, so maybe he didn't want to hurt himself before competition.
Yeah, that could be that as well. He's obviously busy with other things also. So, I mean, it is what it is, lah. But ultimately, like the sight of him, when RJ tries to clothesline him and he just freaking bumps him instead, it still works, right? So essentially, you had Black Arrow doing most of the babyface in peril stuff. Then you have Diamond to come in to do the big moves. You had Mighty to be the fun, lovable, but also destructive face as well. But okay, it all wrapped up on stage. So at the end, sort of like the third act of the match, everything broke down. So forget about tagging, forget about all the rules. Everyone was everywhere with candlesticks and chairs. Okay,
it became an AEW match, essentially.
Yeah, essentially, you had to throw logic out of the room, right? So you had Black Arrow and Statement on the stage, doing moves to each other, like they were reversing each other, and if you saw the video, it ended up with Statement getting Black Arrow in a pile driver, tombstone pile driver position, pile driver on the stage.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Followed by a concerto, bro. Concerto after that. You didn't see the concerto.
Bro, that tombstone though, that his head looked like it smacked the damn stage, bro. Like, when you saw it live, did you cringe or holy
no,
shit?
everyone's like, what the hell? Like, they didn't expect that, right?
Yeah.
And that was the 1, 2, 3 lah. So that's how they managed to pick up the victory.
I guess this is a bit of a, no pun intended, statement victory for this debuting trio.
Yeah. No, it made sense for them to pick up the win here, right?
Yeah.
Because
they
obviously
had to establish themselves.
Yeah, as a dominant heel faction, which is very interesting leading into Hardcore Island. We previewed it a little bit earlier on, right? So now they're going up against the OG good guys, the OG crowd favorites of
the Horrors,
and Aiden Rex.
Yeah.
So
my question is which 3-band tag team? When the Shield was running roughshod in WWE, which 3-band tag team could defeat the Shield? And the only time somebody actually defeated the Shield was actually a new trio debuted, which is the Wyatts. Because I have this feeling that as much as all these baby faces are going to come together, I think no one is going to take this reign away from the trio, and it requires a new reformation of that trio. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and talking about how do you get over a brand new faction? You have them go over people, you bash them over. So to me, it's moving forward, they need to run roughshod over the SPW roster, and I think that's what we're going to see in the next couple of months.
Yeah. So my question is, who is going to stop them? I know they're going to just in the beginning of their reign of terror, but down the road, I hope, SPW either what's the word? Kind of bits in a new prospect or builds or slowly builds up a faction, a babyface faction to counter that, and they can have some epic wars together. That'll be great.
Okay, before we move on, I got to actually speak with Black Arrow, who we've been trying to get on the podcast. I was like, bro, anytime you want to come on, you're welcome. He won't be, unfortunately, he'll be busy for Hardcore Island, but anniversary show will be the next time we see him in action. And of course, we talked about it earlier. He's the Singapore champion, right? There's someone gunning for him, a certain CK Vin. Yeah, so I actually managed to speak with Black Arrow a little bit. I know we've never gotten Black Arrow on the podcast until today. So here's what we got to chatting about.
I hope his neck okay.
It's your boy, Miss Siam, the aftermath of Clash of the Club 2, and check out who we have right here, Mr. Black Arrow himself. How's it going, man?
Yeah, we just had a Clash of the Club Part 2. I faced the Statement and the Midnight Bastards. Yeah, I got a loss, but definitely we always have another round.
Bro, that main event was insane. What is it like wrestling in a club? I mean, it's more like a fight already, right, at this point?
I mean, the title of the show says it all, Clash at the Club. It's my first time wrestling in a club. Maybe fight, that one maybe to those who know, if you know, you know. Okay, but definitely the experience is different, the crowd is different, the environment is different. Right. It's a good experience, and I'm telling you, the crowd was awesome.
So you are the Singapore champion.
Oh, the belt come out
When
already,
can we see you next in the ring? Oh, here we go, we got the championship. Yes, show it. Show it to us. When are we going to see you in the ring again? And do you have anyone in mind to defend your championship?
The next time you'll see me in the ring will be at the anniversary show. And the only guy I always want in my hands is CK Vin.
He just called out CK Vin.
CK Vin, shots
you go.
fired.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is
Hitting
it
me
official?
behind the
Not
back
official
twice
yet?
in a row, that's not cool, bro. Lie, 1-to-1, face to face.
Black Arrow, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your night, bro.
Who's with the black arrow?
I can't wait to actually get him on the podcast. Such a cool dude. Obviously, after taking a pile driver on the stage, he was a little bit out of it, but we managed to, after 5 hours of recovery, managed to get a chat with him. That was 5 hours after the
5 hours, because the fact that his nick now okay, good for him lah.
it was 5 hours clearly.
Was
obviously.
worried the Cairo must do Cairo massage after the show. Maybe he had at the corner there got some massage available.
But obviously he knows that CK Vin is gunning for him. At any point CK Vin could cash in, and try to take that title from him lah. So he's got the eyes on the back of his head, as it were. But yeah, there you go. There's your review of Clash at the Club 2. If you want a full, in-depth review and the star ratings, you can always check out our Patreon page, the Singapore Pro Wrestler rankings, the top 20. It's there. And
Yep. If you start as low as a $5 tier, all the way up to the bigger tiers. But if you want to support pro wrestling, as well as read out on the different shows or reviews of it, and also as our star ratings, it's a great way to follow pro wrestling in Singapore, especially if you are unable to attend. So hopefully it gets you excited to want to attend to the next show again. And if you're a Patreon, and this, I think we didn't promote this enough, you actually have a chance to give your star ratings and we'll add it to the average, bro.
Absolutely.
So go for it. And I'm curious to see what are your star ratings and who are your top performers of the night, even though can kind of tell.
You get the vibe, huh?
Who you feeling, bro? Who you feeling?
Yeah. If you want to come see my star ratings and then at the next event tell me I'm a Dave Meltzer wannabe, sure, go ahead, but subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah, for sure. And again, looking forward moving into August.
Ooh.
We have July wrapped up, but August is a lot of things happening, man. Look at Grapplemax. You got their big announcement on their night festival. It's going to be a bunch of shows. It's not just one show, bro. It's going to be a series of shows they're putting out.
Correct.
Again, like you mentioned, SPW is having Hardcore Island. Ring of Rebirth recently did their tapings at the end of June.
Yep.
And we also just put out our star ratings. Shout out to our Patreon Zah for giving the star ratings for ROR. So I'm actually personally happy that we have Ring of Rebirth wrestlers coming on board and being part of the list. So we will have a pretty comprehensive, hopefully definitive pro wrestling list of Singapore wrestlers at the end of the year, bro.
And hey, let's not forget too, August is SummerSlam. That's coming right around the corner. And that build has been amazing. And if it's your kind of thing, well, AEW's All In is happening soon as well. So the wrestling calendar is always stacked and we are here for it. We thank you for being here for it as well. As always, a big shout out to our sponsors on the podcast. First of all, Lemaq. As you watch this during lunchtime, be sure to always check them out wherever they are. Follow them on Instagram to know if they have any new pop-ups anytime soon, and stuff like that, and whatever their latest deals are. If you tell them that Kick to the Gut sent you, you still get that frap, right?
Yes, for sure. Again, I'm waiting for one of our listeners to actually tell us and tag us like, hey bro, we actually checked out Lemaq and went and bought something from them. I would be really appreciative as well because they have been a good sponsors for us. And hopefully they're gonna be a one that joins us on this long journey of making this podcast as big as it is. So please support Lemaq. Please follow them on their social media, whether it's Instagram and it's TikTok as well. Also, shout out to our other sponsor again. Thank you so much, SPW, for having Mr. Young on the Clash at the Club. Hopefully, once I'm done with reservice, I can kind of check out Hardcore Island. And again, thank you so much for always being a friend of the podcast, sending the wrestlers. Statement loves being on the podcast. I think he's probably he has the most appearances on the podcast, bro. He's always ready to promote his shows and stuff like that.
So. And he's always interesting. That's the other thing. He's always interesting to have on the podcast. Because,
remember that one time he kept stripping on the podcast. Love it. I love it.
It is what it is. But everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. We will not do any of the stripping. We will just talk about wrestling, and we are very happy that you're here with us. As always, all our socials are in the description. So if you want to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, like we mentioned, Discord as well, where we continue talking about wrestling, feel free to do so. You know, the beautiful thing about the community there is when something breaks and happens, you know there's going to be somebody talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. And at the end of the day, we will always be here talking about wrestling, whether it's WWE, AEW, local wrestling, and you can count on us to give our hot takes on pro wrestling every single week. Let's fucking go!
Absolutely. Oh, is it you are excited for Deadpool and Wolverine? Isn't that the literal tagline for that movie as well?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's happening this week, I believe, right? So,
Bro, I already bought my tickets. Bro, I already got my tickets for Thursday because I know if I don't watch it on release day, confirm the next day all the spoilers come out already, I'll be spoiled because I can't get off social media, right?
Bro, is it me or maybe they just have too many surprises that they don't mind giving spoilers during the trailers? What's up?
I know this is like total side quest, but I am convinced that they have so many surprises. They are like, okay, let's just reveal X23. Let's reveal Sabretooth. You know what I mean? Like you are so confident about the surprises in your show that you are okay to reveal a bunch. At least that's what I'm thinking.
Bro, they are gonna have a bunch. You know what? I put my money, bro. I'm gonna put my money that there's gonna be an X-Men related cameo. For sure.
James Marsden, friggin' Halle Berry, Franka Jamson, confirm they will show up at some point, if not in a flashback.
Yeah, and confirm it leads into the whatever new direction that X-Men and Fantastic Four is gonna be part of this universe. I hope it's a good reset, bro. I really hope it's a good reset for Marvel needs a win very badly.
Well, this is the MCU's only movie of the year. Not counting the Sony shit, by the way. Not counting the freaking
Venom 3.
Venom 3. And isn't Kraven coming out this year as well?
Yeah, and I think everyone forgot about Madam Web.
Oh god, the more you forget about that, the better. But this is the Marvel, like Disney Marvel's only movie of the year, and they are throwing everything at the wall. So like the trailer says, you know, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool might just be Marvel Jesus.
Let's hope so. And hey, you love culture stuff, movies, pro wrestling, bro. This is a podcast to be. Come and hang with us, bro. Come on.
Absolutely. So, okay. As always, thank you for hanging out with us. We're going to wrap things up. It is Mr. Young.
And it's Foreign in the building. Take care.